Everyone, good evening. Hello, juniors. Hello, aspirants. Everyone, good evening. So let's start the ride of roller coaster. Why right now the class is like a ride of roller coaster? Because you people and even we are supposed to go in a speedy way. So let us start with a topic: somatic cell nucleus transplant. Today or yesterday, I think someone from you have sent a message to me, and in that message this question was asked. And some of the coaching institutes, what they are doing, they are using Google Translator to translate the stuff. Most of them are using this thing. So what they have done, because in Hindi it is Kendrak, so in English they made it center, and it was like somatic cell center transplant technique. No, it's not like that. It's somatic cell nucleus transplant. So why this concept is important for the point of view of revision classes? See, there are two type of cells in body: germ cells and somatic cells. Now germ cells, only two cells are example of germ cells: ovum and sperm. Germ cells they have a nucleus with 23 chromosomes, and somatic cells, all the cells of our body, they are named as somatic cells. So somatic cells, they are containing 46 chromosomes in the nucleus. So what is somatic cell nucleus transplant technique? For right now, because exam is ahead, so you need to remember one thing, that the process of cloning. Now see, cloning is like to preparing a genetic copy of anything which is carrying इंग्लिश मीडियम. सी, वी हैव पिन्ड अ कमेंट. एक कमेंट हमने पिन किया है ऊपर, देखो उसमें लिखा भी है कि ये क्लास इंग्लिश मीडियम की है. हिंदी मीडियम की क्लास जब होगी तब आपको सूचित कर दिया जाएगा. सो प्लीज डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम एंड प्लीज डोंट वेस्ट माई एनर्जी एंड माई टाइम. Okay, so cloning, whenever anyone is talking about cloning, the process of preparing the clone is named as cloning. Now cloning means you are preparing genetic copy of anything. Now genetic copy of anything means cloning can be done on multiple levels. For example, you can do the cloning of cells, you can do the cloning of tissue, even you can do the cloning of DNA. Yes, you can multiply the copies of, you can say, DNA. That is also cloning. But when you are talking about animal cloning, in that case, the only process which is successful till the day to prepare a clone of animal is somatic cell nucleus transplant technique. So now, what is this technique? This technique was used by scientists when they were preparing the clone of, you can say, sheep. The first very successful and very popular clone, the case of clone, was Dolly Sheep. It was prepared by Dr. Ian and his team. Dr. Ian and his team, they were working in Scotland in one of the institutions, very famous institutions, Roslin Institute of Science. So in Roslin Institute of Sciences, when they were researching over the previous cases of cloning, for your kind information, the process of animal cloning belongs to 1950s. Don't forget this thing. In 1950s in USA, scientists, they prepared the very first clone of frog's tadpole larva. You know very well, tadpole is the larvae. Larvae stage of frog is named as tadpole because it is containing a tail like structure. That's why it is named as tadpole larvae. So this was the first case of clone. Then after they researched and they made multiple attempts to prepare a successful clone of mice also. Then after they tried to do the same thing on other animals, but the most successful and most popular clone case was Dolly Sheep. Now, what was special about Dolly Sheep? So special about, there were multiple doubts of people about the clones. For example, they started to say that clones, they cannot reproduce the offspring. This was the biggest question that has been asked from the scientists. So Scotland scientist Dr. Jan Wilmot and his team, what they did, that is called somatic cell nuclear transplant. So they retrieved unfertilized egg cell from one sheep. So if this is germ cell, that means the number of chromosome will be half. So I'm going to denote it with small n. And on the other hand, this is sheep number 1. From this sheep, they retrieved egg cell. Then after, let me change the color of marker. Sheep number 2. From sheep number 2, they scratched some of the cells from the breast of the sheep. Now these breast cells, you know very well, they are body cells, and body cells are named as somatic cells. So somatic cells, all the somatic cells are supposed to contain 2n nuclei. So this is the difference between somatic cells and germ cells. Now what they did, with colors you can easily recognize what they have done. They have replaced the nucleus of egg cell or non-fertilized egg cell with the nucleus of somatic cell. So they prepared a cell like this. So from the colors you can guess that the envelope of the cell and rest of the organelles of the cell, they belongs to egg cell. But the nucleus of the cell, which is containing the, you can say, all the chromosomes which are going to inherited into the offspring, they are taken from a somatic cell. Now, this was allowed to fuse properly with the help of UV light plus electric arc. By means of sparking, they produce electric arc. And as a result of this, they were able to prepare a cell which was capable to show the characteristics of fertilized egg. Because even if this egg will be fertilized, ultimately this egg is supposed to convert into the N of this, plus in case of normal fertilization, it is going to combine with N chromosomes of sperm. So even that, there will be a egg cell with the nucleus of 2n. Here also we have prepared the same thing. So as a result of this, this cell is exactly like the fertilized egg. The only exclusive characteristic is this time all the cells are coming from, all the chromosomes are coming from sheep number 2. Now this was allowed to grow, and as a result of this there will be division, and as a result of cell divisions, one cell will convert into 2 cells, and then after 4, 8, like that it will start to multiply. Now if it keep on multiplying, it will be about to develop into embryo. Now in this stage, this cell was transferred into the womb of a surrogate mother. That means there is entry of sheep number 3. So now sheep number 3 is pregnant with a cell, which cell is containing the egg part or the germ cell part of sheep number 1, but the nucleus of sheep number 2. And because all the chromosomes are inherited from sheep number 2, so all the characters of the offspring or the baby which will born from the womb of sheep number 3, lamb which will born from the womb of sheep number 3, will carry all the chromosomes exactly like sheep number 2. So as a result of this, Dolly was born, and Dolly was clone of sheep number 2. Now what we have done in the entire process, we have performed somatic cell nuclear transplant. So that's why this technology is termed as somatic cell nucleus transplant technology, SCNTT. So this process was first of all popularized by Dr. Ian Wilmot and his team in the case of Dolly. But later on, you need to remember that in India, in Haryana, Karnal and Hisar, these two are the centers of cloning. Why these two are the centers of cloning? Number one, in Karnal, there is National Dairy Research Institute, NDRI. So NDRI is research center for all type of animal cloning in India. So in NDRI, first of all, they have prepared the first animal clone of India. And this animal clone was a buffalo. And name of this buffalo was Garima. You have to remember this thing, Garima. And later on, one more thing I want to add on here, that Dolly was the first clone which was so popular and it was so successful. Why? The reason behind that is Dolly Sheep. Dolly Sheep was the clone which was capable to successfully reproduce at least 6 times. So there were 6 offsprings of Dolly, and later on the offsprings of Dolly, they also reproduce normally. So from here on, the dilemma or myth was broken that whether the clones are capable to reproduce or not. So scientists were able to prove from the case of Dolly that yes, clones are like normal entities. There is nothing different than the chromosomal sets. Now, in the same way, Garima proved the same thing. Garima was also successful to reproduce, and there are many offsprings of Garima, and they are also named in, you can say, there are multiple calves born from the womb of Garima. One of them I can recall is named as Mahima, and others are also named something like that. Now, one more thing you have to remember, in Hisar, there is National Buffalo Research Institute. That is NDRI, National Dairy Research Institute. This is NBRI, National Buffalo Research Institute. Now you have to remember and retain that NBRI is famous for reproducing the first or preparing the first male buffalo clone. This male buffalo clone was named as Gaurav. And sometimes it is named as Sach Gaurav. Now, why it is named as Sach Gaurav? Reason behind that is Gaurav was produced by NBRI plus with the help of a farmhouse named as Sach Scientific Farm. Both the places are in Hisar of Haryana. Now, this is the first male buffalo clone of India named as Sach Gaurav. Now, in 2023, again, NDRI was in news. And it was in news with headlines, not only in Press Information Bureau of India, in The Hindu, in Economic Times, but it was also covered by the website of the President of India. Now, why this was covered by so, you can say, important platforms? Answer to that is, Karnal NDRI, they in 2023, they announced that we are successful. We have attained success to prepare the first clone of cow in India. And this cow is a Gir cow. You know very well that Gir cow is the famous cow of Gujarat. Now my question for all of you who are live is, what is the name of first clone of cow which is prepared in India? I'm waiting for your answer. Until then, let me take a sip of water because my throat is not well. And everyone, Saurabh Singh, good evening. Mahipal Singh Rathore, good evening. Is that Saurabh Singh who is who have served in Air Force, if I'm not wrong? Yes, absolutely correct. And this time, this clone is named as Ganga. There are many other cases of clone which are in news. For example, they can ask you camel clone. So always remember Enjaj. Enjaj was the clone of camel which was in news. Then after Nuri. Nuri is the clone of Kashmiri goat and it was prepared by Indian scientists. Then after, oh, Mahipal Singh Rathore, I2 ex-air warrior. First of all, thanks to you. Thanks a lot for your services to our country. Dheeraj Varwal, question paper. What is this? I'm not getting you. Question paper. What you are trying to say? Now see, first camel clone was Enjaj in world, and first clone of goat was Nuri, and it was prepared by Indian scientists. And there are many other clones, but we are not supposed to dig deeper because you know very well we are supposed to go in a, you can say, way which should be speed enough. So I think you people are clear about the somatic cell nucleus transplant technology. Now let's talk about Satya Vishnoi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Dheeraj Varwal, I am not able to get you what you are trying to say. Your comment is saying question paper. Now what is this? Which question paper you are talking about? So let's move to the next topic. And next topic is quite important and it has been asked many times in multiple ways. What is the next topic? Health, diseases, and then after they will say zoonotic infections. Now, first of all, whenever you are talking about health, always start with one thing, that 7th of April is observed as, yes, bus office. I'm not getting you. Still, I'm not able to get you. Is there any clone of camel from India? Not so far, Priya. But when you are talking about camel, always remember one more thing, that Camel Research Institute is in Bikaner. And I think the place exactly named as Johar Bir. And you need to remember one more thing, that whenever you are discussing about camel, the camel milk is full of nutrients. Exceptionally, it is containing vitamin C. Exceptionally, it is containing antioxidants. Now, because of these properties, camel milk is considered to be good for the health of human. That's why Urmul Dairy, yes, Urmul. Now, in Rajasthan, the Cooperative Dairy Federation is named as Saras. Now, there are different branches of Saras. In Bikaner area, Saras plants are named as Urmul. So, in Bikaner, Urmul Dairy was the first dairy of world. Please mind my words. It was the first dairy of world who is selling the packed camel milk. Packed and processed camel milk by Urmul Dairy. In the same way, the dairy of Ganganagar region is named as Gangmul. So that's how Saras Cooperative Federation or Saras Cooperative Dairy is named like this. One more thing I want to add here, because camel is state animal of Rajasthan. So remember one thing, there are two types of camel. One is single hump camel and other one is double hump camel. So whenever they are talking about the single hump camel, don't forget that the single hump camel is the state animal of Rajasthan. And this is named as Camelus dromedarius. Remember CD. In short form, it is good to remember right now. Heroin, which prevents the formation of blood clot. It's not heroin. I think you should go and check it again, whether you are talking about heroin, basophils, or you are talking about heparin and basophils. First of all, cross check with your reference. I can guess. Dheeraj Verwal, if I am not wrong, you are trying to ask me about the question heparin. You are typing it herarin and then after basophis. So please cross check your reference and confirm you want to know about basophils and heparin, or it is something else. And if it is basophil and heparin, then please let me know so that I can explain your answer or I can answer your question. Okay, heparin. Okay, so we are halting here because there is a good question asked from the side of धीरज वर्वाल. मुकेश मानव, हिंदी में क्लास नहीं है क्या? आपको जरूरत नहीं है क्लास की मुकेश, आप शायरी करो आराम से बैठ के. हमें तो आरएस ने लूटा, एलडीसी में कहाँ दम था, मेरी कश्ती वहां डूबी जहां करंट अफेयर का वेटेज अधिक था. कोई बात नहीं, कश्ती डूबती रहेगी, आप टाइम पास करते रहो ऐसे ही. नाउ सी, very good question. All of you are supposed to pay your attention here. Whenever you are talking about blood, you need to remember most of the time questions are asked from WBC. Why questions are asked from WBC? Because there are two type of WBCs. One is granulocytes. Other one is agranulocytes. First of all, whenever you are talking about WBCs, you need to remember any person's health can be judged in such a way with the help of WBC count that it is named as mirror of human health. Now, normal WBC count is somewhere 5500 to 10.5K per ml. This is the normal, you can say, WBC count. But whenever you are going to talk about WBC, type of WBC, there are two type of WBCs. One is granulocyte, other one is agranulocyte. Whenever you are talking about the difference between granulocyte and agranulocyte, you have to remember that on granulocytes, there are granules, while agranulocytes are clear like this. Even if you will try to observe your blood under proper staining facilities, under good microscope, you can also distinguish that these are granulocytes and these are agranulocytes, because granules of WBCs, they will pick up the color of the stain. Now, granulocytes are further categorized into three. So there are you can say they are divided into three parts or three types of granulocytes. One is neutrophils. Other one is basophils. And third one is eosinophils. Now all you have to remember is NBE. You can remember, I think you can recall it in your exam, NBE, N for neutrophil, B for basophil, E for eosinophil. Now, one more thing you have to remember is agranulocytes are divided in two categories. One is lymphocytes. Other one is monocytes. So you can say there are 5 types of WBCs. Now, first question they can ask you is, which one of these is maximum among the WBCs? So you have to answer that. Yes, technical team, please देखिए जरा ये एक दो, ये हैरी जॉन्स करके है कोई इनको देखो जरा, और एक कमेंट पिन कर दीजिए प्लीज कि ये क्लास इंग्लिश मीडियम की है, हिंदी मीडियम वाले बच्चे अपना टाइम खराब ना करें. और ये एग्जाम से 2-3 दिन पहले प्यार मोहब्बत जिनको सूझ रही है, ये जो कमेंट्स कर रहे हैं, इनको प्लीज ब्लॉक करके इनको नवाजा जाए सम्मान के साथ. ये कमेंट पिन कर दीजिए ना प्लीज. Otherwise, they will keep on commenting Hindi, Hindi, Hindi. Yes, isko pin hi rakhna comment ko. Thank you. Thank you, technical team. Now see, there are three types of granulocytes: neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil. Always remember that approximately 70% of WBCs are neutrophils. Now, they are going to ask you what is the function of neutrophils. Just imagine these are the neutrophils. Now, whenever you are talking about neutrophils, you have to remember they are like their nucleus is carrying multiple lobes like this. Their nucleus is something like this, multilobular. So there are more than 2 or 3 lobes in the nucleus of neutrophils. Now, neutrophils are responsible for two functions. First function is named as chemotaxis, and second function is named as phagocytosis. Now, what is chemotaxis? Chemotaxis means detection of infections. How they will detect the infections? All the infected cells will secrete signal chemicals, and these signal chemicals are the essential components of chemotaxis. For example, this is my body cell, and this cell is infected by some of the virus. Now, this cell, when it will get infected, this cell will secrete some kind of signal. That signal is a chemical, and this chemical will be sensed by the neutrophils. So the capacity of neutrophils to sense the signal chemicals of danger or invasion by the pathogens is named as chemotaxis. Then after, second function is phagocytosis. Now, what is phagocytosis? Phago means to eat up, cytosis means cells. So what they will do, they will eat up the infectious cells. Infectious cells, how they will eat up? This is neutrophil. Now, they are moving in your body with your blood. They are flowing from here to there. Now, whenever they will sense that, just imagine this yellow dot, you can see, I think, if you cannot see because of low resolution issue or something like that, then please imagine I am making one pathogen here. So whenever they will see there is a pathogen, so in next step, they will eat it up and they will engulf it. So this process is named as phagocytosis. That's why many times they are considered as first line defense system. So this is all about neutrophils. You need to remember for the pre point of view. Then after, second is basophils, which was the question asked from the side of Mahipal ji. So now see, whenever you are saying basophils, you have to remember one more thing, that basophils are very important by point of view of their secretions. Now, sorry, this is basophil. Now, the granules of basophils, always remember, granules of basophils, they are containing two chemicals. Both of them are starting with H. One is heparin, other one is histamine. Now, what is the function of heparin? What is the function of histamine? So, you remember that heparin is named as anticoagulant. Anticoagulant means it will not allow the blood to, or it will stop the blood clotting. Why it will stop the blood clotting? Because blood should not clot while the blood is flowing in our blood vessels. So this is the first and most important function of heparin. One more thing you have to remember, that heparin is secreted by, heparin is secretion of liver. Liver cells are responsible for secretion of heparin, one thing. Second thing is histamine. Now, whenever you are talking about histamine, you remember that histamine is a chemical which will ignite. the secretions like secretions from nasal tract, secretions from oral tract, secretions from your eyes, even the secretions from your stomach. So because of effect of histamine, all type of secretions will start to increase. One thing. Second thing is, whenever you are talking about histamine, you need to remember there is a category of medicines, they are named as antihistaminic. Yesterday also I talked about it in brief. Antihistaminic. Now what are antihistaminics? Antihistaminics are the medicines which will reduce the activities of histamine. So what are the activities that are triggered by means of higher level of histamine? First is nasal secretions, oral secretions, eye secretions, or you can say secretions from your stomach. So these medicines which are called antihistaminics, they are used to prevent allergic reactions, plus antihistaminics are also used to prevent acidity. Why? Because the secretions of stomach are going to cause acidity. Plus these medicines are very popular whenever anyone is having flu infections. Now they will not cure the flu infections, but all the flu infections are associated with excess secretions from your nasal tract and your oral tract. Even some of the patients, they keep on complaining that, doctor, we are having issues with our eyes also. Whenever we are suffering from the influenza or something like that, we are facing issues that our eyes are hyper secreting the chemicals or the secretion. So all these problems are associated with raised level of histamine. Got it? That's why antihistaminic medicines, they are used to cure it. Now one of them, General Studies TV. Good, nice name. General Studies TV. So serotonin is also a defensive mechanism. It is associated with a very long mechanism which will cause inflammation, but in a protective way. Got it? Now see, हिंदी मीडियम में क्लास, अरे भैया भगवान ने आंखें नहीं दी क्या? ऊपर देखो कमेंट हमने टैग कर रखा है. So hopefully Dheeraj Varwal, your query is done. I was able to entertain your query. Now next one is eosinophils. Now what about eosinophils? Whenever you want to retain everything about eosinophil, try to recall any patient from your family or anyone of your known who is a patient of asthma or allergy associated with respiratory tract. So just remember that that patient is suffering with the hyperactivity of eosinophils. Now see, eosinophils, these are eosinophils, just imagine, and there are granules of eosinophils. Now any patient who is allergic to, for example, pollens. Many of you are allergic to pollen grains, many of the patients are allergic to dust, and many are allergic to other factors. For example, I am allergic to artificial fragrances. Now I am allergic to all the chemicals which are used to produce artificial fragrance. Now what will happen whenever any of the things with which you are allergic, and always remember these are named as allergens. So whenever आपने इतने दिनों में हिंदी में क्लास नहीं ली सर, वो देख लेंगे प्लीज. अच्छा, अरे भैया यही तो कह रहा हूं दोस्त विशाल सिंह, मैं समझता हूं, मुझे पता है कि एग्जाम से 4 दिन पहले मैंने भी एग्जाम दिए होंगे मेरी जिंदगी में कभी, है ना, और इतने सालों से तुम्हारे जैसे छोटे भाई बहन बहुत सारे बच्चे आते हैं मेरे, बहुत सारे दोस्त आते हैं तुम्हारे जैसे छोटे, तो मैं समझता हूं कि इस टाइम तुम सब की गाड़ी का इंजन हीट में आ रखा है ना, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. लेकिन आप भी समझो हमने ऊपर ही टैग कर रखा है ये क्लास इंग्लिश मीडियम की है, हिंदी मीडियम की क्लास भी जल्द होगी. देखो जरा ऊपर दिख रहा है ब्लू कलर में, है ना, तो बार बार आप पूछते हो तो मेरा फ्लो टूटता है उससे, है ना. इसलिए प्लीज ये कमेंट मत करो. हमें हिंदी वाले बच्चे जो हैं और इंग्लिश वाले बच्चे, दोनों में कोई ऐसा नहीं कोई भेदभाव है. मुझे तो दोनों ही बच्चे बहुत प्यारे हैं। और इस बार तो इतना बिजी था मैं हिंदी मीडियम के साथ, आपको इंग्लिश मीडियम वालों से पूछ के देखना, अभी जो बैचेस आए हैं पिछले 7-8 महीने से, उनकी तो क्लास भी नहीं ले पाया मैं, क्योंकि मेरे पास हिंदी मीडियम के बैचेस इतने सारे थे, इसलिए मैं इनकी मैराथन ले रहा हूं अभी। गॉट इट है ना? आप लोग अभी शांति से बैठो, पढ़ाई करो, पढ़ाई नहीं हो रही थोड़ी सी मस्ती करो, चिल करो। मैं समझता हूं 4 दिन पहले दिमाग ऐसे होगा, और अभी तो रुको, 1-2 दिन बाद सिचुएशन ये भी आएगी, आंख बंद करोगे। और इसीलिए मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूं, ये जो व्हाट्सएप पे आप लोगों ने ग्रुप्स बना रखे हैं ना, इनको छोड़ दो यूज करना। क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है इन पे, मैं आज ही देख रहा था हिंदी मीडियम वाले एक ग्रुप में कोई एक आदमी पूछ रहा है सतर्कता आयोग का अध्यक्ष कौन है। पहली बात तो पूछने वाला बेवकूफी कर रहा है, दूसरी बात उनके आंसर देने वाले भी बेवकूफ है, क्योंकि यू हैव नो आइडिया। जो पढ़ लिया वो रिटेन हो जाए तो बहुत है यार, बहुत है, मतलब बहुत है इस टाइम याद हो जाए तो। क्योंकि होगा क्या, मुझे ध्यान है, आंख बंद करोगे, सोने की सोचोगे, दिमाग में आएगा यार चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य की मां का नाम क्या था। अब वो आंख खुल गई एकदम से, अब तुम उठाया फोन, अब आंख खुलते ही, एक और प्रॉब्लम है आजकल के बच्चों की, आंख खुलते ही फोन हाथ में आता है, एंड देन यू विल स्टार्ट टू स्क्रॉल थ्रू इट, एंड व्हेन यू विल स्टार्ट टू स्क्रॉल थ्रू इट, कहीं ना कहीं कोई नई पीडीएफ आई होगी। तो आपको ये बात समझनी पड़ेगी कि भाई ये जो पूरा जो सिस्टम है उसमें आपको याद रखना है, आप में से कोई भी नहीं है जो 100% तैयारी कर ले। सो दैट्स व्हाई डोंट टेक, यू कैन से don't panic, don't take burden of everything, stay easy, stay relaxed, है ना? क्योंकि इस टाइम बर्डन लेके कुछ नहीं करने वाले, इसीलिए मैं भी क्लास ले रहा हूं। तो तुम देख रहे हो मैं ऐसे नहीं कि बहुत दौड़ दौड़ के अपने को करना, नहीं, रिलैक्स होके 4-5 घंटे कल पढ़ लिए, 4-5 घंटे आज पढ़ लेंगे, जितना हो जाएगा अच्छा है। नहीं होगा, पूरा नहीं होगा तो कौन सा पूरा करके आना यार आपको। सो स्टे पॉजिटिव। मैं तो क्लास में ही बोलता हूं हमेशा, अदर देन HIV, ट्राई टू कीप एवरीथिंग पॉजिटिव। नाउ सी, anyone who is going to face allergens, these allergens are going to trigger the granules of eosinophils. Now the granules of eosinophil are going to secrete certain chemicals, and when they are triggered with the allergens, they are going to trigger special type of cells. They are named as mast cells. Now these mast cells are capable to ignite the reactions which are called allergy. For example, in our nasal path, just imagine this is our nasal tract or nasal path. Now in our nasal path, the target of allergy is this area. The first tube which is going inside is named as trachea. Then after there are branches of trachea, they are named as bronchi. So always remember, by the action of eosinophils, bronchi will be constricted. This bronchi constriction or bronchoconstriction will lead to an issue which is named as asthma. And in more proper way, it is pronounced as asthma or asthma. Got it? So asthma, then after all type of allergies, they are associated with eosinophils. That's why whenever you are tracking the record of any patient, फर्स्ट अक्टूबर RAS प्री, सेम डे IBPS, कौन सा एग्जाम दे, कोई इस बारे में बात नहीं करता है। हाँ, आप कर लो ना बात बैठ के आराम से क्योंकि बाकियों के पास टाइम नहीं है। हाँ जी, so this is about eosinophils, and I think we are done with, you can say, all type of granulocytes. Then let me finish the A granulocytes also. A granulocytes are the granulocytes which are devoid of any type of granules. Look, so there are no granules. Now A granulocytes are of two types. One is monocytes. Always remember that monocytes are the largest blood cells. One thing. Second thing, monocytes are responsible for one of the most important function named as phagocytosis. They are named as they are famous for their actions related to phagocytosis. You know very well that what is phagocytosis. I told you about the phagocytosis. So, and second type of agranulocytes are very important. They are lymphocytes. And you have to remember and retain that there are two types of lymphocytes. One is B lymphocytes, another one is T lymphocytes. Now, whenever you are talking about B lymphocytes, you have to remember B stands for bone marrow. Now, these cells are produced and matured by bone marrow itself. And later on, they play the role of antibodies. They behave like antibodies. Why the T lymphocytes, they are produced by bone marrow, but later on they will enter into thymus gland. Yesterday also I discussed about it. And then after they will mature in the form of antibodies. Now one more thing you have to remember, that thymus gland will work until the age of 13 years. Later on the functions of lymphocytes, or you can say thymus gland, they will start to diminish. Now because they will diminish, as a result of this, you can say thymus gland will start to shrink. That's why most of the vaccination protocol is ensuring that most of the vaccines should be, you can say, administered before the age of 13 years. Got it? One more, they can ask you that what are cytokines? So whenever you are talking about cytokines, you have to remember that eosinophils, or the granules of eosinophils, are responsible for producing cytokines. Cytokines are a kind of barriers. They are also a part of our immune system. So that's how we are done with, I think, all type of WBCs. One more thing you have to remember here, that whenever you are suffering from any of the infection, WBC indicates a lot, because WBCs are named as leukocytes. So there are two types of situations. One is leukocytopenia. So whenever you are suffering with leukocytopenia, that means decreased number of WBCs. Now decreased number of WBCs are associated with two things. Number one is decreased immunity. And number two, it is a symptom of viral infection. Most recent viral infection can lead to decreased number of WBC. But what if the leukocytopenia is extreme? Extreme means there is a significant decrease in number of WBCs. It is very obvious that decreased number of WBC is an indicator of decreased immunity. But if there are a special type of, you can say, T4 lymphocytes, and if the number of T4 lymphocytes is decreased in significant amount, it is an indicator of entry of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Then after, other situation is leukocytopenia or leukocytosis. The meaning of leukocytosis is increased number of WBC. Now whenever increased number of WBC, again there are two type of situations. One is slight increase in number of WBCs. This is again an example of, you can say, symptom which will lead to a kind of doubt that your body is carrying some kind of infection. In many of the infections, the number of WBC will be increased. Why they will increase? To fight with the infection, the body will increase the number of WBCs. Then after, there is a significant number of, you can say, WBC which is increased. Let's say from 10,000, it shoot up to 80,000 or 1 lakh. So in that case, doctor will say that I am having a doubt that patient is having leukemia. Now what is leukemia? Leukemia is blood cancer. So this is all about WBC. I think for right now you should study. Then after, one more is there, that's platelets. Whenever you are talking about platelets, you have to remember they are named as thrombocytes. Thrombus means clot of blood. So thrombocytes. So obviously, whenever they are going to ask you the function of thrombocytes, you have to say first function is they helps in blood clotting. Blood clotting will take place only if the sir, if I keep on doing wrong questions while getting them right, then how can I resolve this problem? See, Prakriti, first of all, on the basis of my experience of a decade plus, I think this is my 13th year, 13th or 14th year into the field of this type of teaching. And from last 8 years, I can say at least 12 hours of my life are going to these competitive exams. So on the basis of all the experience, I want to say two things. First thing is, never judge your performance or preparation on the basis of the questions which are prepared by coaching institutions or coaching centers. Nowadays, all the coaching institutions, they are running themselves on the model of IIT or NEET, or in our times it was PMT, that model. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to show their own smartness. That's why from here or there, they are just putting the statements. Look up for the following statements. And then after they will add one statement. And the most funny thing is, these questions are not prepared by teachers in any of the institutions. These questions are prepared by the candidates like you. The people who are working with an experience of maximum 6 months. So when they will prepare to show their smartness or over smartness, they will prepare the questions which are very, you can say, I can say many of the questions are like, whenever even I see the questions, I say, what the bullshit is this? What is this? For example, there was a question, look for the following statements. Now see, first statement is saying, the density of ice is less than the density of water. That means the examiner is trying to examine the potential of general physics. And second statement is what you will be, you can say, shocked. Second statement in the same question was, chlorophyll is responsible for the green color. What is this? One statement is from physics, second statement is from botany, and third statement is from chemistry. And in fourth statement, they are asking some type of missile. What the hell it is? So don't judge yourself on the behalf of the question papers prepared by the coaching centers. One thing. Second thing, always remember that RPSC will not allow any of the teachers of coaching institution. Sub-staff is a very different thing. Or the staff which is preparing question paper is a very different thing. They are just kids like you. But when you are talking about the question paper of RPSC, it will be prepared by the professors, honorable professors, I should add the term, honorable professors of the universities, who are carrying at least 20 plus years experience in their head. They were the most, you can say, we keep on calling them cream people, creamy layer of that subject. Then after they reach to universities and they will prepare the questions. So their questions will carry a lot of concept. Their question will carry a lot of clarity. That's why the day when you will see the question paper, final question paper, you will realize that 90% of you people were fearful because of foolish things done by the coaching institutions. And in last, I want to make a declaration, no coaching center or sentiment of no coaching staff was harmed during the shoot of this clip. Now see, so first function is to ensure the blood clotting. Second function is to make the blood thicker. The tendency of blood is to stay in, you can say, fluid form. So yes, the platelets, they allow it to stay in fluid form, but they ask the blood to stay in the form of a thick fluid. Yes, it is fluid, but they keep it in the form of thick fluid. Kindly excuse me, let me raise the temperature of AC. They fixed it on 18 and I'm already coughing. Okay, so these are the functions of platelets. Now they can ask you one more thing. Thrombocytopenia. Now, thrombocytopenia is a situation in which platelets will be decreased. Now, remember that any patient who is having a platelet count less than 40,000, this patient should be hospitalized. One more thing, this is very common symptom of dengue and chikungunya. So remember this thing also. With this, one more thing, you people are very well aware about blood groups. Now, most of you are aware of this concept also, that on our RBCs, this is our RBC. On our RBCs, there are two things you need to remember. One is, on the RBC, there is hemoglobin. About this, we have talked yesterday. Other than this, our RBCs are provided with glycoproteins. These glycoproteins are antigens. So if there is antigen A, then it is blood group A. If there is antigen B, then it is blood group B. If there is antigen A and B both, some of the times people keep it AB. So it is not, it is A and B. There are two type of antigens. That means I have to just review concepts at place of got worried due to test. देखो बच्चे, see, जितनी मेरे ख्याल से आप लोगों की एज होगी, इतने सालों से तो मैं खुद कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम या तो दिए होंगे मैंने इतने साल पहले, या पढ़ा रहा हूं मैं, तो मैं बार बार ये बात बोल रहा हूं, हिंदी में बोल रहा हूं फिर से, कोचिंग सेंटर वालों के टेस्ट पेपर देख के ना तो खुश होना है कि तुम बहुत अच्छी तैयारी करके बैठे हो, ना चिंता करनी है. आई एम टेलिंग यू, गॉट इट? आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू, जस्ट ट्रस्ट योर प्रिपरेशन. और खुद को अगर इवेलुएट करना है, आरएएस का पिछला पेपर उठाओ, उसके बेसिस पे इवेलुएट करो. And don't forget to remember one more thing, that the favorite task of RPSC is to ask facts. Now, from where they can ask facts? They can ask facts from the schemes. There are, I think, 32 or 33 flagship schemes. They will ask questions from there. They can ask facts from economic survey or economic review. They can ask facts from Rajasthan geography. And you should go through the things as per the requirement of the exam, not as per the interest of yourself. For example, there are chances, for example, when I was appearing for IAS, I was very fearful about the medieval history. I'm sharing the, you can say, incident of my life, which is a mistake also. So when I was of your age or somewhere I was in my 20s, that time I appeared for IAS, and that time I was fearful of medieval history. Because I was, first thing is, I was not in any of the institutions. Second thing, I was preparing with my work. And third thing is, whenever I tried to read the medieval history, I felt that this is like full of facts. There's nothing to understand, and all I have to do is mug up. So last months जो थे उनमें I decided that I should quit this part. Why I should skip this part? Because I can do multiple things or many other things within the same time. So I stay focused and I pick up the constitution part. And why I'm saying it was a mistake also, because I paid for the same in mains exam. But in case of prelims, I was very safe. Why I was in safe zone? Because the answer is, I tried to do something else in place of this thing. So if you are facing a kind of, you can say, situation that I'm not able to do this part, or I'm not confident about this part, skip that part. But don't skip the parts which are carrying a lot of weightage. For example, ancient Indian history. Many of the students who are skipping the ancient Indian history, they have no idea. 5 or 6 questions every time they are asking from the ancient Indian history. In the same way, civilizations of Rajasthan, you need to mug up these things. And don't worry, again I'm saying, all you have to do is just ensure that you are confident. You are confident about one thing, that throughout the year we are studying honestly. I'm not saying you have learned everything. Got it? सर लास्ट अटेम्प्ट में मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे आए थे बट मॉक में उतना अच्छा स्कोर नहीं हुआ सर, कॉन्फिडेंस गिर गया. आई एम टेलिंग यू शादाब, not only you go to the vlogs of Gaurav Budania. I'm just saying that why I'm referring to the vlogs of Gaurav Budania. He is also admitting this thing in his one of the vlogs. भाई हम लोगों का तो क्या है कि हमारा IAS में हुआ नहीं फाइनल, तो इसलिए तुम लोग हमारी बात पे हो सकता है उतना ट्रस्ट नहीं करो. Go through the vlog of Gaurav Budania. What he is saying, he is also saying the same thing that many a times. एक बार तो उन्होंने ये भी बोला है अपने वीडियो में कि भाई हमारे तो स्टूडेंट हैं, वो हमारे तो पर्सनल कॉन्टेक्ट है उनके साथ, लेकिन आपको बता रहा हूं आपको जो चीज उनसे सीखनी है. उन्होंने अपने व्लॉग में खुल के बोला है कि एक कोचिंग जो बड़ी फेमस है अपनी टेस्ट सीरीज के लिए, मैंने उसके 2 या 3 टेस्ट लिखे, उसके बाद मैंने जाना ही बंद कर दिया क्योंकि उस कोचिंग वालों के टेस्ट के हिसाब से मेरी पढ़ाई अच्छी नहीं थी. लुक, he secured rank 12th and 13th respectively in both the exams, state services as well as you can say civil services. So I'm giving you his example not because I'm inspiring you to skip the tests. Go appear in the test, but always remember these tests are not on the standards of RPSC. They are just hyping it. They are trying to be oversmart. They are putting unnecessary stuff into that. There are 17 subjects if you'll break every subject. And then after, it is very easy for anyone to prepare. The easiest task on the earth is to ask any question. For example, I am studying here and you can ask me anything here. And I will be stuck. Somewhere I will be stuck. Why I will be stuck? Because easiest task is not to answer. Easiest task is to ask the question. And nowadays, this field is suffering with the toxicity. What is the toxicity? Over-informed people. Over-informed people, how? There are different teams for YouTube as well as classroom as well as for content. Now, and responsibility is on your shoulders also. What you people are doing, you people are appreciating anyone who is preparing this much of stuff where only 2 lines are required. For example, I was shocked one day, one of the YouTuber, he is a very famous teacher. He is telling about the Titan submarine. And what he is doing, he is there with the map, presentation of the map, that this was the location in the ocean, this is the depth of that area, this was the Titanic, this was the year when Titanic was, you can say, facing the tragedy, this much of staff was there, this was the number of crew, this was the metal which was used, this was the length of Titanic. What the hell is going on? On the name of civil services, you are teaching this? So, don't worry about this, be smart. Till the day the result of our classes is best because we work hard work in a smarter way. Always remember. So you need to be confident and you need to stay focused that what they will ask, not worry about the things what coaching institutions are asking in the mocks. Why they are preparing this type of paper? Try to understand their mentality. They are trying to show off that we are special, we are different, our paper is so lengthy, our paper is so difficult, our explanation key is so wide. No, don't get into that trap. This is not something IIT institution or something like this. Is exam of GK, general knowledge. Every person who is doing NET or JRF or who is doing PhD or research, for example, one of my students, she is from Jodhpur and she is doing PhD in Rajasthan history, and topic of her PhD is swords of Rathors of Rajasthan or weapons of Rathors of Rajasthan. Now just imagine what you will answer if I will pick up 2 questions from her thesis. There is one professor in Rajasthan University, his topic was industrialization in rural area of Rajasthan. Now, what you will answer if I will pick up the research paper of that professor and prepare 2 or 3 questions out of that? For some time or for a particular time frame, you will feel happy that yes, I am learning something new. That is useless, my dear. You are not supposed to do research. You are supposed to study for general purpose, general knowledge. So stay focused, stay confident, and try to learn from others' experience. For example, a very humble and very knowledgeable person like Gaurav Budania. If he is condemning the coaching institutes and their test series trap, that means he is not wrong. I'm saying this thing, and not today, I'm saying this thing from years. So Shadab or Prakriti or whoever is there, stay happy. You people are doing good. They are no one to judge your preparation, and you will say, I think most of you are having my mobile number. Most of you will share this with me on 1st of October. You will say, sir, you was absolutely correct. Paper was easier, not easy, easier than the papers which are prepared by the coaching institutions. Now see, whenever there is no antigen, it is named as O blood group. Now see, this blood group system is associated with RBC. Yes, it is associated with RBC. But always remember one thing, that in case of platelets infusion or platelets transfusion. Transfusion means I'm taking out the platelets from the blood of one patient and I'm injecting it into other patient. Even then, you have to take care of blood group. Why? Because blood groups are also associated with platelets. Remember, platelets are also carrying the antigens which are associated with blood group reactions. Agglutination is the name of reaction which will happen in the body of patient. That's why even during the transfusion of platelets, you have to be careful. Now, one more thing, if you will, you can say do, then you are done with this entire chapter of blood. RH incompatibility. Now see, whenever you are talking about RH incompatibility, you have to remember that this time there were two scientists, Karl Landsteiner and Wiener. Karl Landsteiner and Wiener, yesterday also I talked about it, they discovered that rhesus monkey, the blood of rhesus monkey, when they observed the RBC of monkey, they came to know that yes, there is antigen A, B and absent, or A and B both, but with this there is one more antigen named as RH. So this RH was named as RH factor, rhesus. RH stands for rhesus, RH, rhesus, as a name of RHESUS, rhesus. That's why it is named as rhesus factor. So this rhesus factor, always remember that this is responsible. For example, if anyone is going to ask me, sir, what is your blood group? I will say my blood group is B positive. So indirectly I am trying to say on my RBC, there is B antigen. With this on my RBC, there is antigen RH. So that's why my blood group is BRH positive. So anyone is devoid of this RH, then he will be termed as B negative. Now you have to remember one thing, that if mother or father, any one of them is RH positive, then there will be chances that most of the offsprings or the kids, they will be RH positive. Most of the, I'm not saying 100%, most of the patients, they will be RH positive. Now see, what is RH incompatibility? Just imagine there is a couple where husband is RH positive and wife is RH negative. This is the case where they will cause RH incompatibility. Now, how RH incompatibility works? This is first pregnancy, and because one of them is RH positive, and because the blood of lady is RH negative, and because one of them is RH positive, so we are assuming that during the first issue, the blood group of baby is RH positive. There are three conditions. First is husband should be positive, wife should be RH negative, and first issue, first baby in the womb of lady, that should be RH, yes, RH positive. Now, if the baby is RH positive, then what will happen during the labor or during the birth of baby, the baby will be produced, and that time the blood will, yes, I knew that. We are done with this. It will take 2 minutes only. Then after we are done with the entire thing of blood. Now see, because of this reaction, the female body will produce antibodies. And remember that these antibodies are named as D antibodies. And because of presence of these D antibodies, the second baby, if the second baby is Rh positive, then this baby will face a lot of issues like jaundice, like anemia, and even death of the baby in womb. In case of death of the baby in the womb, it will be named as erythroblastosis fetalis. Now, why it is named as erythroblastosis fetalis? Because erythrocytes will get blast. That's why it is named as erythroblastosis fetalis. So I think we are done with the everything from the blood. Now one more thing is left over, that is blood clotting. I'm sure that there will be 1 or 2 questions from the chapter of blood. So whenever they are talking about blood clotting, you have to remember 2 things. One is, okay, normal blood clotting time is 3 to 5 minutes. The meaning of blood clotting is whenever anyone is having injury, the blood will stop to flow. Now blood clotting, in blood clotting you have to remember 2 things. One is coagulants. Coagulants are the compounds or components of blood which are responsible for blood clotting initiation. Now coagulants can be divided into 2 parts. One is natural coagulants, other one is artificial. Whenever you are talking about natural blood coagulants, always remember they are present in plasma. Plasma is not a blood coagulant, but they are present in plasma. So plasma is provided with the blood clotting factors. Now, example of natural blood coagulants are platelets, vitamin K. Vitamin K is also named as phylloquinone. And don't forget, there is a connection of phylloquinone absorption with E. coli, Escherichia coli in our intestine. Then after, third example is calcium ions. Then after, fourth example is fibrinogen. And fifth example is prothrombin. Always remember that prothrombin will get converted into thrombin and fibrinogen will get converted into fibrin. That leads to blood clotting. Now, what are the artificial agents or artificial chemicals which can help in blood clotting? So, example of artificial blood coagulant is alum. Now, you know very well that alum, the formula of alum is K2SO4 dot Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24H2O. This is the formula of alum. So it is also named as potassium aluminium sulfate. Potassium aluminium sulfate. So that's why in barber shop you can see they are sitting with alum. In India it is named as fitkari. So why they are sitting with, for example, I am sitting in barber shop or in saloon, and whenever he is picking up the alum, I can understand, it is well understood that kata hai usne. Why he is applying this alum or fitkari? Because he is aware that he is not aware of the name or scientific name or chemical structure like you people are aware of, but he is aware of one thing, that if I will apply this, immediately it will stop the bleeding. That's why it is an example of artificial coagulant. Now, what are opposite to this? The counterpart to this is anticoagulants. Now, anticoagulants, you know very well that they ensures that there should be no, you can say, no stop, bleeding should not be stopped, blood should not get clot. So they, you can say, inhibits the process of clotting of blood. So anticoagulants are again divided into 2 categories. One are natural, or which are found in our body. So the natural example of anticoagulant is heparin. I told you heparin, it is produced by liver, it is stored in the granules of basophils. Then after, anticoagulants which are artificial. Example of artificial anticoagulants are 2. One is EDTA. Always remember the full form of EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Then after second example of artificial anticoagulant is sodium citrate salts. Basically, it is written in books that sodium citrate salts, but actually it is trisodium citrate. So this is one of the, you can say, most popular anticoagulant. Now EDTA and trisodium citrate, these are used by blood banks in the blood bottles. So that's why whenever you are going to donate blood, you can see that the person who is working as nurse, she or he will come there after some time and he will start to shake that bag like this. He will rotate it like this, something like this. So why he's doing it like this? Because he's trying to say, he's trying to ensure that EDTA or trisodium citrate, whatever is there, it should get mixed properly. Otherwise, the blood will clot in the blood bottle. If the blood is clot within the blood bottle, it is of no use for the blood bank. One more thing I want to add here, that Rajasthan's largest blood bank facility has been recently inaugurated by Honorable CM of Rajasthan in SMS. Remember this thing? In SMS. This is the largest blood bank facility. One more thing I want to add here, that blood is stored near about 2 degree to 8 degree, 2 degree to 4 degrees Celsius. And it can be stored up to 21 days. But they never store it in whole blood form after a particular time. Why they never store it? Because they will centrifugate and they will separate out all the components, for example RBC, WBC, platelets and plasma. Out of them, most of the RBCs, they are used because they are capable to increase the hemoglobin. So they are used for the medicinal purpose also. Got it? So we are done with all the things of you can say blood. क्लास को बाइलिंगुअल पढ़ाया जा सकता है. थैंक यू एडवाइस देने के लिए. अब पढ़ाई कर लो, जाके जाओ बेटा पढ़ो, है ना. ज्ञान 1 तारीख को एग्जाम में बांटना, यहां मत बांटो. Now see, we were talking about disease or infections. Now whenever you are talking about disease or infection, first of all you need to understand a term named as zoonotic infections. Now whenever anyone is saying zoonotic, you have to catch up the term zoo. So whenever there is zoo, it is about animals. So any of the infection which is actually coming from animals into other animals, or they are coming from animals into humans. So any infection which is channelized from animals to human, always remember, will be termed as zoonotic infection. Later on, it is not necessary that every time it is coming from the animals. Later on, it can spread from human to human. But if once the origin of infection is confirmed to be animal origin, then it will always be termed as what? Yes, it will be termed as zoonotic infection. So you need to confirm this thing, that you should not be confused with this thing, that what are zoonotic infections. For example, recently monkeypox was in news. Monkeypox or Nipah virus. Nipah virus was in news. So remember that Nipah virus is an example of RNA virus. See, all the students, please look here. Virology is the branch of science which is about studying the viruses. And nowadays, if you will see, most of the infections are of viral origin. Now, these viral infections are most dangerous. Out of viral infections, you can say viruses are of 3 categories. One is RNA viruses, second one is DNA virus, and third one is which is containing RNA as well as DNA, both the things as genetic material. first of all, you need to understand, whenever I'm saying virus, that means I'm talking about something which is containing only two things on the name of body. One is proteinous capsule. Capsule is made up of protein most of the times. And then there is genetic material. This genetic material, if it is like this, then I'm going to say this is DNA virus. Usually DNA viruses are less harmful. Then after, some of the viruses, they are like this. So again, here is protein capsule, and this is what? RNA. So I will say this virus is RNA virus. So whenever you are talking about RNA virus or DNA virus, you need to understand nowadays RNA viruses are more harmful. They are more in news. Why they are more in news? Because most of the infections of RNA viruses are easy to spread. Most of the RNA viruses, they are hard to manage. Hard to manage means infections will spread very quickly. So it will be very difficult for, you can say, any of the person to manage them. Just wait a second. ये हिंदी वाले लोग इतने खाली बैठे हैं क्या भाई? एक के बाद कमेंट करो. निशु चौधरी, हरीश शर्मा, राहुल यादव, प्लीज लुक, ऊपर ही ऊपर कमेंट लिखा हुआ है. दिस क्लास इज फॉर इंग्लिश मीडियम स्टूडेंट्स. आप लोगों की क्लास जब होगी तब आना ज्ञान देने, है ना. अभी पढ़ाई करो बेटा जाके, क्योंकि 4-5 दिन ही है आपके पास. क्यों टाइम खराब कर रहे हो यहाँ बैठ करके? गॉट इट? सो नाउ always remember that virus, they cannot reproduce themselves. They depends on other cells for reproduction. For example, first of all, virus. Okay, one more thing you need to remember. Some of the groups of viruses, they are having this type of proteins. These proteins are named as spike proteins. And inside the virus, there is RNA. So these there is some issue with mic. Hello. टेक्निकल टीम, आवाज सही आ रही है क्या? अच्छा, ऐसे झुक. ओके, थैंक यू. नाउ सी सर, आप बहुत प्यार से समझाते हो इंग्लिश में, बच्चे से समझ आता है. थैंक यू. लव यू ऑल. ओके, थैंक यू. नाउ सी, and one more thing, one of the students yesterday, he texted me and listened to me. This is really important thing. What is important in this? Yesterday I received a message from one of the, you can say, my students or my junior, you can say, and the message was that, sir, I will meet you after exam and you will proud of me. Now see, all of you girls and boys, all the juniors, please listen to me carefully. I am proud of you. I will be proud of you even if you will secure 0 marks. Why I'm proud of you? I'm proud of you because you people are good person. We are here to make this world a much better place. So never set this type of standards that if you will crack the exam, then only I will proud of you. I'm proud of you. I will be proud of you tomorrow. I will be proud of you day after tomorrow. Because not only who are selected, they are not only my students. People who are not able to make up to certain point, or people who were not able to go through the selection, they are also my students, and I'm proud of them. Everyone, I'm proud of them equally. So don't enhance this new type of social discrimination, that someone is selected, that means he deserves more respect. No. Everyone is trying his or her best according to his or her potential. Got it? And you know very well, if you are my offline student, then you can recall in first lecture I always discuss about IQ. In first lecture I always discuss about there are 8 or 9 type of intelligence. Got it? So you have to remember this thing. We all are provided with different type of mindset. We are all are provided with different type of situations. My situation is not like your situation, and your situation is not like someone else's situation. Situation means internal situations, your mental situation, your physical condition, your family situation, your social conditions, etc. etc. Age factor भी होता है और 10 चीजें होती है. So I am proud of you. Always I will be proud of you. If you will come in front of me and you will say, sir, I am the one who have failed badly in prelims, even then I will say, I'm happy, I'm proud of you. You will do something good in your life. Got it? Now see, let's go back to our topic. So this is what I was talking about, the viruses. Now whenever there is spike protein, this virus will be named as coronavirus. Now you have to remember this thing. Corona means something radiatingly coming out of something. That is named as corona. That's why corona, always remember, corona is not the name of disease. Then what is corona? Corona is a family of viruses. Corona is a group of viruses. Now, under coronaviruses, there is one subgroup named as SARS. Now, what is SARS? SARS is severe, A for acute, R for respiratory, S for syndrome. So any of the viruses, I won't meet you the next day of exam. Yes, please come over to Jaipur and always welcome. Got it? Now see, but there is one issue. There are chances, not only chances, there are like more than 99% arrangements are made in such a way that I will take a leave from the evening of RAS exam. There are chances that on first I will be there to solve this question paper for you people. Otherwise, I will be on leave for next 6 or 7 days, because then after I have to start the mains classes. Got it? Now see, let's start the roller coaster ride of diseases. Now they are going to ask you zoonotic infections. Now we will go through some of the examples of zoonotic infections. The very first infamous example, I will not say famous example, the very first infamous example is Zika. Z-I-K-A. You have to remember this name was in news in 2022 in The Hindu. In 2023 again, scientists and doctors, they were worried about Zika. Now see, first of all, what is Zika? So you have to remember that Zika is a zoonotic disease, and vector of Zika, vector you know very well, vector means the disease which is carried by someone or spreaded by someone. The spreader or carrier is named as vector. So vector of Zika is mosquito. And in case of mosquitoes, this is female Aedes aegypti. Female Aedes aegypti mosquito is the vector of Zika. Now, the name of virus of Zika disease they will now ask you, because again the name of virus is Zika. The disease is Zika and the virus is Zika. So obviously they are not going to ask you about the name of virus, that name the virus which is causing disease Zika. Now let me sit please. Then after, they are going to ask you the most important thing is, what are the symptoms of Zika? So one of the symptoms of Zika is microencephaly. Now what is microencephaly? Whenever you are going to see anywhere, whenever you are going to see cephalo, the meaning of cephalo is head. For example, encephalitis. Encephalitis is a situation in which there will be excess of water in head. and the head of even the head of babies can be so large. Now, to save the life of baby, they need to do a drill in the cranial part. So they will make a puncture or a drill hole here to drain out the liquid from the skull area. Now, the same thing is associated with historical achievements of Indus Valley civilization, because in Indus Valley civilization, many of the skulls were recovered which are containing the same type of drills. That is indicative of a surgical procedure performed over that cranium. So this is all about Zika. One more thing you have to remember, in India, cases of Zika were observed in UP. They were observed in UP. One more thing I want to add here, that Zika is the name of jungle. Zika is the name of jungle because of Zika in Brazil also. Otherwise, Zika was first time reported in Africa. Otherwise, because of Zika in 2016, many of the players, they said no, we will not participate in the, you can say, Olympics, Rio Olympics. Then after, second example of is bird flu. साइंस ऐसे ही नहीं आती इंग्लिश में, तो भैया इंग्लिश वालों के लिए ये क्लास काहे टाइम खराब कर रहे हो? ऊपर पढ़ो तो सही, थोड़ा सा बुद्धि काम में लो। और ऐसे बार बार कमेंट करके अगर हमारी इन क्लासेस को आप डिस्टर्ब करोगे तो कल परसों आपकी क्लास होनी है, बिकॉज इट्स ऑल अबाउट योर एटीट्यूड। पढ़ाई करो ना यार जाके, अगर आपको नहीं समझ आ रहा है तो गो एंड स्टडी, व्हाई यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम हियर। हमने ऊपर कमेंट 5-6 बार मैंने ही बता दिया, 5-7 बार कमेंट करके भी बता दिया है, आपके बार बार कमेंट आते हैं तो फ्लो डिस्टर्ब होता है हमारा। नाउ नेक्स्ट इज प्लेग। नाउ यू नो वेरी वेल दैट प्लेग इज ऑल्सो नेम्ड एज ब्लैक डेथ। ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट as Zika was a viral disease, but here plague is a bacterial infection. Now the bacteria of plague, it lives in the, just imagine this is a rat and these are the hairs of rat. Within the hairs of rat there are ticks or the blood sucking parasites of the rat hair. Within these there is the bacteria of plague, and name of this bacteria is Yersinia pestis. It is also named as Pasteurella pestis. Yersinia pestis or Pasteurella pestis. These are the two names of bacteria of plague. Plague is named as Black Death because during the, you can say, severe situations of patient, the patient may feel some of the issues like his body will start to produce extra pigment. And because of that pigmentation, his body will appear black. Then after, next example of zoonotic infection is dengue. Now again, the dengue, vector of dengue is female Aedes aegypti. Remember that female Aedes aegypti, most of the time it prefer to live in clean water or clear water. That's why the favorite places to hide, or favorite, you can say, hideouts for the female Aedes aegypti are the coolers or the, you can say, water tanks. And most of the time it will bite in daytime. It is named female Aedes aegypti, and it is also named as tiger mosquito because there are stripes on the body of this mosquito. That's why it is also named as tiger mosquito. You remember one thing, that dengue is caused by a virus, and the name of virus of dengue is Arborflavi. Arborflavi is the name of virus which is the cause, you can say, of dengue. Now one more thing I want to add on here, you know very well that DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization, it is famous for production of missiles, a lot of technological developments, but DRDO is doing some of the things which are only available to certain sections of society. For example, right now DRDO is running a pilot project of GM mosquitoes. Now DRDO have prepared male mosquitoes, and these male mosquitoes are actually Aedes aegypti mosquitoes. These male mosquitoes, they will make relation with female mosquitoes, which are natural mosquitoes, and as a result of this, the female mosquito will, you can see, give eggs, lay down the eggs, and these eggs, they will convert into larvae. But these larvae will never develop into a form of mosquito. So this is an example that how you are capable to counter the diseases which are caused by the mosquitoes without using any of the pesticides. And this is an example that how DRDO is not only famous for production of missiles or weapon systems. One more product of DRDO is 2DZ. Some of the times journalists, they are mistaking it as a medicine of COVID. No, it is not a medicine of COVID. 2DZ. 2DZ is an example of glucose. This is a special type of glucose which helps the COVID patients to get well soon, comparatively to get well soon. Now, one more thing you have to remember, that this 2DG is nothing but the glucose powder. So whenever the glucose is available, you know very well that there are two types of cells: healthy cells and cells which are infected cells. Now the infected cells are having a tendency to take on more energy from the glucose. So this 2DG will prevent the infected cells to consume the energy. So as a result of this, all the glucose will be available to the healthy cells only. That's how the patient will get well soon, very quickly, very fast. Now there is one more disease which is zoonotic and very famous, is rabies. Now you know very well that whenever you are talking about rabies, first thing is, always remember that till the day, rabies is responsible for 100% mortality. 100% mortality means not a single patient on the earth, I'm saying not a single patient on the earth is the patient who has survived of rabies. If someone is suffering from rabies, that leads him to or her to death only. This is the record of world, not only of India or of Rajasthan, throughout the world. If someone is infected with rabies, it is sure that he or she will die. Now, rabies, it is a viral disorder. If it is a viral disease, what is the name of virus of rabies? So, if they are going to ask you the name of virus of rabies, the name is very easy: rhabdo-street-virus. The name of virus is rhabdo-street-virus. Now, the rhabdo-street-virus. Sir, at the end of the class, please discuss the strategy on how to attempt the paper. Okay, Ansh, I will try my best. Sonia madam, you should read the comment which is in top of the chat and which is pinned, and it is available in different color. Please read that comment. Now, viral disease, and the name of virus is rhabdo-street-virus. Now, one more thing they are going to ask you, which organ system is going to be targeted by rabies. So your answer should be straightforward way. You have to answer, it is going to target the most important system, CNS, central nervous system. Now see, whenever rabies, you are talking about rabies, you have to say that why it is zoonotic. So your answer should be, it is going to affect the animals also. And from animals, it can come to human. Animals, you know very well that dogs, cats, then after bovine animals, you know very well, bovine means cow, buffalo, etc., etc. They are named as bovines. Then after, you can say hyenas, tiger, horses, and even your rats, rabbits, they can also get this infection. Now, they can get this infection, but most of the time, the cause of rabies is dog in India. Okay, now whenever the infected dog, which is carrier of rhabdostreet virus, will bite the patient or it will lick the patient, with the saliva, this virus will come in contact with the skin of the patient, and if the skin, which is a primary barrier, which is actually an example of defense system of your body, so whenever the virus will come into contact with your skin, and if the skin barrier is broken from somewhere or from anywhere, the virus will be successful, or it will successfully gain an entry into your system. Now, as a result of this entry of virus into your system, this virus will start to infect your cells. From there, it will start to lead towards your central nervous system. Now, you have to remember one more thing. Your central nervous system means your brain plus your spinal cord. Now, it will enter into your spinal cord, and from there, it will start to hijack the mechanism of your brain and spine. Now, as a result of this, what will start to happen? The first thing will be hydrophobia. Phobia means fear, hydro means water. And second will be aerophobia. Aerophobia means patient will not be able to breathe properly. And within 7 days or 5 days, the patient will face death. Now, what are the preventive actions? First thing is, all the animals which are supposed to be in contact with you, they should be vaccinated. Now, whenever you are talking about the vaccine of rabies, you have to remember one of the greatest scientists of the world, Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur was the scientist who was the brain behind discovery of this vaccine. Whenever you are talking about Louis Pasteur, you should not forget that Louis Pasteur is remembered for many of his contributions. The first contribution of Louis Pasteur was he denied the theory of Aristotle. What was the theory of Aristotle? He keep on saying that all the animals are result of favorable situations, and this leads to self-origin of animals. This was the statement of Aristotle. This statement was denied and proved wrong by Louis Pasteur. How he did that? He did that by means of an experiment which is named as flask experiment. Now, the second contribution of Louis Pasteur is he advised the process of pasteurization. In case of pasteurization, you have to go through the pasteurization of milk. That is important. Not only milk is pasteurized, wine is also pasteurized, beer is also pasteurized. All the things are pasteurized. All the packaged food is pasteurized. Now, the pasteurization of milk can be done in two ways. One is high temperature, short time method. Other one is low temperature, long time method. Whenever you are talking about high temperature method, the temperature will be around 72 to 73 degrees Celsius. And whenever you are talking about low temperature and high time method, that means for 15 to 20 minutes or for 30 minutes, you have to keep the milk around 62 to 63 degrees Celsius. So that's how the milk will be named as pasteurized milk. So whenever you will see the packet of Saras or Amul dairy, okay, one more thing you have to remember here, Amul is Cooperative Dairy of Gujarat. Full form is Anand Milk Union Limited. Now, third thing of Louis Pasteur was, he is the one who researched a lot about bacteria or microorganisms. So he was the one who prepared the vaccine of rabies. So vaccine of rabies was prepared by Louis Pasteur. Now, second thing which is available to doctors on higher centers is they can administer serum. Now, what is serum? Serum is obtained from the animals which are infected, deliberately they are infected with rabies viruses. As a protective mechanism, their body will start to produce antibodies. And these antibodies are present in plasma. Antibodies are always present in plasma. You remember this thing. Antibodies with reference to, I'm talking about antibodies which are going to defend your body. Now see, whenever you are talking about rabies or whenever you are talking about serum of rabies, you have to remember one thing. This is not a surety of treatment, but this is line of treatment which is provided to the patient. Now, one more example of zoonotic infection is Ebola. Again, Ebola is a viral infection. And Ebola was very much, you can say, affecting the life of African people. Now, Ebola is named after the name of a river in Sudan. In the jungles of Sudan, if you will go through the map of Africa, somewhere here there are two countries. One is South Sudan, other one is Sudan. Now, in the jungles of Sudan, there is a river named as Ebola. So that's how this place is named Ebola, or the virus is named Ebola. Now, why it is named as, you can say it is considered zoonotic, because it is believed that because of fruit bats. You know very well that there are bats which are fruit eating bats. They are named as fruit bats. So because of fruit bats, this virus came into human. And in human body, what it leads to? It leads to bleeding. Excessive bleeding from all the organs of body. That's why Ebola was carrying a, you can say, mortality rate of 40 to 60%. Now just imagine the same thing is with Nipah. Now Nipah virus, you remember this thing. Nipah was in current news also. So Nipah virus is also spreading because of fruit bats. The Institute of Virology, which is in Pune. So Institute of Virology is the institution which is testing the bats. Now, institution is saying that bats of more than 9 states, again listen this thing carefully, Institute of Virology in Pune is saying that the bats of 9 states are carrying this Nipah virus. So, this Nipah virus enters into human body by means of interaction with the bats or something like that, and then after it is spreading from human to human. Now they can ask you two things. First thing, Nipah virus is an example of RNA virus, first thing. Second thing, Nipah virus, there is no treatment available so far for Nipah virus. You can only manage the patient. When I'm saying no treatment, or when I'm saying you have to manage the patient, that means I am saying that only symptomatic treatment is available. That's why approximately 40% to 70% mortality rate is till the day a point of worry for the scientists in case of Nipah. But the good thing is it is not spreading as quickly as the COVID was spreading. Why? Because Nipah, so far Nipah is not an airborne infection. What would be the result, or what would be the chaos it can cause? You can imagine if this is going to spread through air, you can say, or airborne particles as the COVID was spreading. The death rate in case of COVID was only approx 2%. Plus minus 1% is always there. But here in case I'm saying 40% to 70%. Just imagine. In case of COVID, 60 or 70 crore people, they were suffering with COVID. And out of them only 1 to 2% they died. Now what will happen if in case of Nipah, the spread rate is equivalent to the spread rate of COVID? There will be, you can say, problem will be reversed. Today we are suffering with the problem of, you can say, highest population in the world. In case of Nipah spread, we will be suffering with the problem how to save the human population. So let's select 1000 male and female and let's move to Mars. It will be the only solution, otherwise nothing. So that time you will be need to write down an application to Elon Musk that to hell with the RAS prelims, let's shift us to Mars. Please give us one bed in, you can say, any dormitory on your Mars colony. Now this is all about Nipah. One more thing you have to understand about Nipah. What are the symptoms of Nipah? In case of Nipah, the patient will have fever, chills and rashes. Body rashes are the more common symptoms. Now one more thing is there, that how the Nipah is spreading human to human. So you have to remember it is spreading by means of contact, and it is spreading by means of sharing of food. So you have to remember this thing. One more example of What is the difference between plasma and serum? Now see, whenever I'm saying plasma, plasma means water 92% plus all type of proteins plus all type of clotting factors plus all type of minerals. Now if I will remove all the clotting factors from plasma, it will become serum. It will become serum. Remember this thing. Now next is HIV, human immunovirus. Now you will say, sir, how you can say it is zoonotic? Now see, HIV, whenever you are talking about HIV, you have to remember, first of all, it was present in monkey. Remember this thing. Till the day, monkey is the reservoir of this virus. Now, how the hell, what was happening there, or how this thing, or this, you can say, poisonous thing came into the human, no one knows. But from monkey, it entered into human. Because from monkey it entered into human, that's why I can say that this is an example of zoonotic infection. Now, whenever you're talking about HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, you have to remember one thing, how it is possible that one virus can challenge the immune system of human body, which is so nice immune system. So first thing I want to tell you, the positive side of virus from the point of view of virus is its small size. It is challenging for our cells to recognize it. How small it is? It is approximately 10 raised to power 5 times smaller than the RBCs of human body. That's why even through the ulcers or during the micro injuries during the sexual intercourse can lead to exchange of this virus. That's why years ago it was written that kiss is not a cause of spread of virus HIV. But nowadays you will not see this thing in the advertisements of Government of India. Because mouth ulcers, they can lead to spread of virus. Now next thing, whenever you are talking about HIV, you have to remember this is an RNA virus. But in the structure of HIV, there are some special things. There are 2 RNAs. And on the surface of this, there are glycoproteins. These glycoproteins are expert in sticking with the lymphocytes. They will stick with your lymphocytes. So this virus will enter into your body, and just imagine this is your lymphocyte. Lymphocyte is your defense system, your defense mechanism. So what will happen? This virus will come like this and it will stick with your lymphocytes with the help of, yes, glycoproteins. When it will attach its glycoproteinous anchors with your cells, once it is done, then it is so happy. Like the Pirates of Caribbean. Now Jack Sparrow is going to enter into your ship, and he will enter in the same way, like he is doing like this, and like always he is in euphoria mode. Now what this virus will do? This virus will inject its RNA into your lymphocytes. Now once its RNA is injected into lymphocytes, the RNA is intelligent enough to hijack the entire cellular system of your lymphocyte. So now lymphocyte is your lymphocyte, but it is hacked by someone else. So it will start to work as a kind of remote server for your computer. Remote control of your cell is in hands of someone else. So as a result of this, it will be able to make its copies. Multiple copies will be prepared by means of using the cellular machinery of immune system of human body. Just imagine. When other viruses are afraid of your immune system, this virus is hijacking your immune system. That's why this virus is named as human immunodeficiency virus. Now, as a result of this, the virus load, the population of virus in human body is named as viral load. So viral load will be increased, one thing, and second thing is, as a result of this, this virus will be able to form multiple copies of itself. Now, because there will be multiple copies of the virus, as a result of this, your immune system will get decreased. When it will get decreased, you will approach to doctor. Now, doctor will ask, the primary symptom is what? T for lymphocytes. they will get decreased. When they are decreased, doctor will ask you to go for a test. A name of test is ELISA. Full form of ELISA is enzyme linked immunosorbate assay. E for enzyme, L for linked, I for immuno, S for sorbent, and A for assay. This assay is not ESSAY. That is assay writing in mains. This is assay, assessment assay. So assessment related assay is named as assay in medical science. For example, if I am carrying a tablet of paracetamol and it is written over that 500 milligram paracetamol, that means inside the pharmaceutical company, before the delivery of that medicine into the market, there was assay or assessment of that drug performed on the basis of random sampling, and as a result of that it was confirmed that yes, this tablet is containing approx 500 milligram. In the same way, this is assay. So there are two chances: ELISA can be negative or ELISA can be positive. Now remember that ELISA is the name of test, but the technology which is used in ELISA test is RT-PCR. Reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction. Yesterday I talked about this. Reverse transcription means we will change RNA into DNA because the viral load is containing RNA. So this RNA will be converted into DNA with the help of polymerase transcriptase. Now, once you will get the DNA, it is not easy to measure the DNA. So you will be need to amplify the DNA by means of a cycle. And in each cycle there will be three segments. One is denaturation, second one is annihilation, and third one is extension. Now see, whenever you are talking about this cycle, this is one cycle, again and again if you will run such type of cycle, millions of copies will be formed within 25 to 30 minutes or in hours. So if the doctor or the chemist or the pharmacist or whoever is performing this thing, or the, you can say, laboratory expert or the biochemist or the biotechnologist, they will found that sorry, you are positive, then they will not confirm here that you are suffering with AIDS. Now what they will do? Now they are supposed to ensure this thing with one more process. The second process is named as southern blot. Now what is southern blot? Southern blot, northern blot, these are the tests. First of all, they will perform the electrophoresis. Electrophoresis means they will separate out the DNA, and then after the DNA will be separated. And if this is positive, southern blot test is positive, then they will say, yes, you are suffering from AIDS or you are infected by HIV. Now, infected by HIV is the initial stage. When I'm saying AIDS, that means it is confirmed that your cells are hijacked by the HIV and it is into certain stage. There are certain stages of AIDS. Now, one more thing, in first stage, you will catch by infections. A lot of infections will be there in your body, but in later stages, second stage, third stage or fourth stage, the patient will be a patient of TB, hepatitis, as well as cancer can be a result of later stages of AIDS. Now, to counter this thing, we need to administer some of the medicines. These medicines are named as anti-retrotherapy medicines. Anti-retrotherapy is also named as ARTs. So if they are going to ask you, ART medicines are used to prevent the spread of which of the infections, or prevent or the which of the infections, your answer should be AIDS. This is not a treatment, this is management. Again and again I'm saying, treatment means something which is going to cure you. Management means we are trying our best to extend the life of patient. Now, whenever you are talking about AIDS or HIV, you need to remember 1st of December, you need to remember NACO. NACO is National AIDS Control Organization. With this symbol, NACO is working worldwide. The headquarters of NACO is in Delhi. Whenever I am talking about AIDS, you have to remember, in case of Rajasthan, there is RSACS, Rajasthan State AIDS Control Society. This society, its head office is on Bais Godam. This society is working to ensure there should be no spread of AIDS. Now, whenever you are talking about AIDS or HIV, in case of civil services exams, you have to remember Indian government is following a strategy of 90-90-90. This is our strategy. This strategy against AIDS is very helpful to stop the spread of AIDS as much as possible. Now, what is first 90? First 90 means 90% patients of AIDS should be aware of their status. That means we are promoting testing as well as awareness. There are many cases in which patients are aware that yes, I am HIV positive. And if timely they are aware, there are chances that their life will be extended up to, you can say, 4 decades. But most of the patients, they will approach the doctor in the later stages of AIDS. First is HIV infection, then after AIDS, first stage, second stage, third stage. So first 90 is 90% people should go through the testing. And they should know their status that I am HIV positive or HIV negative. Then after second 90 is when 90% of the total infected people who came to know that yes, they are suffering with AIDS, 90% of them should receive ARTs. And the third 90 stands for 90% of the people who are receiving ARTs, they should be benefited with that. Positively, they should get the results. That yes, we are able to ensure that these medicines are good for us. Zidovudine, a lot of medicines are there and all of them are available free of cost. Government is charging nothing against it. Testing is free. And one more thing you have to remember, that in Government of India, Parliament have passed a law regarding to AIDS. Now, what is that law? That law was passed by Parliament of India that on the basis of HIV status of anyone, you cannot discriminate in jobs, in social status, or in, you can say, any of the things. You cannot do discrimination because, and even you cannot share the data of someone who is HIV positive to ensure that even they can live with the dignity. Now, cause of spread of HIV has been asked in IS prelims also in 2013, I think they have asked once that. So you have to remember that infected blood, infected semen, infected vaginal fluid, or from the patient mother to the baby who is in womb. Okay, always remember one thing, it is possible that a lady who is HIV positive, she can give birth to a baby who is healthy. How it is possible? Placenta is containing a filter. Placenta is containing a barrier. So that barrier will not allow the HIV to enter into the baby. Then how the baby will get infection? The baby can get infection during the time of birth. Baby will came into contact with the blood of mother other than placenta. One more thing you have to remember, that if a lady is HIV positive, then it is advised that after the birth of baby, she should not share the breast milk with the baby. So these are the main, you can say, and one more thing, infected needles. Now, infected needles, so obviously not because of injections, but tattoo is also a cause of spread of AIDS. Other than this, food, clothes, hugs, and most important, mosquitoes. Remember that mosquito biting is not a cause of spread of yes, it was covered by me. It was not only covered by me, but it was discussed by us. And one of the soldiers, he came over to me, meet me in afternoon. I can remember that day in old building of Samyak. I was standing like this, and one of the soldiers, he came there and he said that, sir, maja aa gaya aaj to, and he is from Hindi medium batch, and he said that, sir, maja aa gaya aaj to. I said, why? What happened? He said, sir, wo jo discuss kiya tha na RT-PCR wala, usme se bada question aaya hai. तो क्या एग्जैक्ट तो मैं नहीं लिख के आया, लेकिन मैं वो लिख के आ गया जो जो आपने बताया था. And one more thing, Mahipal ji, you can check one more thing. One more thing where luck favored me last vacancy was I was the one. I can say this thing with a tap on the table that I was the one in YouTube classes last year, in revision classes like this. Last year means in 2021, just before 2 or 3 days before the vacancy, or before the exam, I said that Balasya Moolam Vijnanam is the slogan of DRDO, and that was the question in next day's exam. After that, everyone is doing this. But yes, we anticipated it first. And this thing was also anticipated by us. Anticipated because these are the things, for example, I'm discussing this 90, 90, 90. So most of the places you will be missing it. And one more thing is the students who are sitting here and who were in the batch in which I was teaching the science and technology in English medium batch last year, that time I covered 6 into 6 into 6 strategy in details. And this year 6 into 6 into 6 question was asked in IAS prelims. And remember, according to people and according to scholars or according to the experts, this year's IAS was the most difficult paper of the history of UPSC. And one more question was there from missiles that was also asked directly from our, you can say, notes. Okay. So now it's been like almost 3 hours. So I need a break of, you can say, 5 minutes. You people can also do something if you want to do. Then after I will continue the same. Thanks to being there for me. Thank you. by you people, at least in, you can say, if you will hear it, then you can do it. There is one type of hepatitis. Hepatitis E. This is also considered to be zoonotic infection. Remember that hepatic. Whenever anything is hepatic, it is associated with liver. And whenever you are talking about liver, you have to remember hepatitis. Now see, hepatitis, titus means inflammation or affecting the liver cells. Now, hepatitis is a viral infection, and on the basis of strain of virus, hepatitis is considered to be like A, B, C, D and E. There are 5 main types. Out of them, E is considered zoonotic infection. Yes, in research papers, it is mentioned that there are chances that this virus is spreading because of horses or some other animals. So that's why E is considered as zoonotic infection, one thing. Second thing, you always remember that hepatitis A is the most common, and hepatitis A and E, these two are spreading due to contaminated food. Contaminated food. For example, food and water, both can be the cause of spread of A and E. Whenever you are talking about the hepatitis, you have to remember B, C and D. Remember this thing, B, C and D, these 3 will spread only because of infected blood contact or infected body fluids. Body fluids like semen or vaginal fluid, that can also be a reason of spread of hepatitis B, C and D. And in exam, you have to remember that hepatitis B is named as Kala Pelia in India. It is named as black jaundice or Kala Pelia in India. Whenever you are talking about hepatitis B, you have to remember one more thing. In terms of science, it is incurable. Incurable means doctors can manage it, but they cannot cure it with the help of medicines. That's why any patient who is having hepatitis B will be treated in a different ward. And any patient who is having hepatitis B will need a special surgical procedure or special surgical facilities if doctor wants to do surgery of this patient. One thing. Second thing, hepatitis B is considered life-threatening or dangerous in India. Now, whenever you are talking about hepatitis, you have to remember the primary symptom of this thing is jaundice. Whenever you are talking about jaundice, you have to remember one thing from liver, and you remember that liver is the largest internal organ of your body. I'm talking about a lot of things from general knowledge which are useful in upcoming exam. Now, whenever you're talking about liver, you have to remember it weighs approximately 1.5 to 2 kg. Now, liver is largest gland also. This is the largest gland of your body also. Now, liver is divided into 2 parts, right lobe and left lobe. Now, on the other side of liver, if this is the liver from the front side, then under the liver, I should say, there is one gland, secretory organ that is named as gallbladder. Now, always remember that a juice which is named as bile juice, it is secreted from the cells of liver and then after it will reach to gallbladder. It is secreted from the cells of liver and then after it will reach to gallbladder. Then it is stored in gallbladder. It is secreted from gallbladder to the intestine. So now one more thing, always remember the pH of bile juice is around 8.2. That means it is basic. Now when this gallbladder will secrete this juice, which is bile juice, it will come through the common bile duct. Why it is named as common bile duct? Because in the end of this bile duct, the secretory duct of pancreas will also join it. Now, this bile juice is containing 2 types of pigments. One of the pigment is yellow in color. The yellow pigment is named as bilirubin. While the green pigment, other pigment is green pigment, and green pigment is named as biliverdin. So there are 2 pigments. Out of them, the bilirubin, always remember, bilirubin is considered as a marker or indicator or reliable testing of jaundice? So if they are going to ask you what is jaundice, you have to say simply that raised level of bilirubin is jaundice. Now, what are the functions of jaundice in body? In point of view of general knowledge, you have to remember bilirubin which is a yellow pigment. It is associated with emulsification of fat. Now, what is emulsion? You know very well that emulsion means two phases are together, then they will form emulsion. Emulsion is a system. Secretion of bile juice is performed by who is responsible for secretion of bile juice? Yes, secretion of bile juice is performed by gallbladder. Always remember this thing. But origin of bile juice belongs to liver cells. So liver cells, they will secrete bile juice, then after it will come and it will stored in gallbladder. Then as per requirement, it will be secreted by gallbladder towards intestine. Now, emulsion means two phases. So emulsification of fats is performed by bilirubin. So always remember that liver is associated with digestion of fats. Now one more thing I want to add here, whenever you are talking about fats, you should remember that 1 gram of fat is going to provide approximately 9 calories of energy. Now there are two types of fats. You know very well that fats are actually result of fatty acids. There are long chain fatty acids. Now which acids they are? For example, if you are saying that they are containing carboxylic group. So there are two types of fats. One, it can be like this structure. Other one can be the same carboxylic group and the structure can be like this. Now these zigzags are actually, I am trying to show that these are the carbons. On every edge there is a carbon like this. You have to assume that there are carbons. Now what is the difference in this and this? There are also carbons. Everything is same excluding one thing, and what is that? Type of fat, I am making one double bond. So when there is one double bond, this fat will be named as mu-Fa. And when the same fat will be like this and more than one double bonds will be there, it will termed as pu-Fa. Now what is mu-Fa and pu-Fa? Mu-Fa stands for mono unsaturated fatty acids. Pu-Fa stands for poly unsaturated fatty acids. Now poly means multiple. Unsaturated means double bond. You have to recall the 9th standard NCERT. Saturated means single bonds. Unsaturated means more double bonds, more than single bond is unsaturated. So unsaturated fats are of two types. One double bond is monounsaturated, more than one double bonds is polyunsaturated. Now that's how I can say fats are of two types. This is saturated fat. This is unsaturated fat. This is also unsaturated fat. So fats are of two types, saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Now you have to remember saturated fats. Saturated fats are dangerous for heart. So they are not good. Unsaturated fats, they are comparatively good for heart. So which food I should prefer? If anyone is going to ask me, I will say that I should eat something which is containing unsaturated fat in larger proportion than saturated fats. So if they are going to ask you technically why olive oil is considered a good source of fat, my answer would be olive oil is considered as a good source of fat because olive oil is containing larger proportion of unsaturated fats. And if someone is going to ask me why coconut oil is not a good oil to eat, I will say the proportion of coconut oil is something like that. This much is saturated fat, this much is unsaturated fat. Now, one more thing you have to remember that other than olive oil, there are many fats. For example, omega-3 fatty acids, they are good fats. Then after they can ask you refined oils. Now, what refining is done there? So, refined oils are refined in such a way, if they are refined with good intentions. I'm using this if. So, if they are refined with good intentions and they are prepared with quite scientific, you can say, technologies, then it will work like they are containing PUFA and MUFAs. That's why they are good. Then they are going to ask you many other examples. For example, ulci. Why it is considered good for your health? Your answer should be the same. Because of good amount of omega, or because of good amount of unsaturated fatty acids. Now, fatty acids, whenever you are talking about saturated fats are not good for health. Now, saturated fats are, they are having a tendency. What is the tendency of saturated fats? They will become liquid on room temperature. For example, you can say coconut oil. They will become, you can say, liquid. They will become liquid on room temperature. Now see, अभिज्ञान में पढ़ाते थे पुलिस वाले, बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं सर हिंदी। अरे भाई, यहां भी हिंदी में पढ़ाऊंगा। ऊपर कमेंट पढ़ दोस्त मेरे, मईपाल सिंह शेखावत जी, ऊपर देखो कमेंट, देखो क्या लिखा हुआ है। ये क्लास इंग्लिश मीडियम की है, मैंने लिखवाया भी हिंदी में कमेंट। ये क्लास इंग्लिश मीडियम की है, हिंदी मीडियम की क्लास भी जल्द होगी। मैंने कब बोला कि मैं न्यूजीलैंड में पैदा हुआ हूं, और मैंने कब बोला कि मुझे हिंदी नहीं आती है? लेकिन ये इंग्लिश मीडियम की क्लास है, तो इसको पढ़ा लेने दो प्लीज। नाउ सी, liquid, they will be liquid at room temperature. So now, to avoid this issue, scientists, they started to do one more thing. They will take vegetable oils. Vegetable oils means fats, and then after they will mix them with hydrogen, and in presence of nickel as a catalyst, one reaction will take place. This is saturated fat, this is other saturated fat. Now, because you are mixing them with hydrogen, so bonds will be formed between them. Now, this process is named as hydrogenation of fats. This hydrogenation of fats leads to formation of a new type of fats. They will remain solid on room temperature. Now, because they will remain solid on room temperature, so they will be a choice of all type of people who are working in bakery industry. Now, you need to recall cream rolls, you need to recall pastry, you need to recall the cream between the biscuits, which was our favorite when we were, you can say, kids. You remember many times we used to eat the biscuits, we will separate them out, and then after we will lick the cream, and then after we will pack them again, and we will say, I don't want to eat. Or cream roll, or the fat which is used in burger, the fat which is used in pizza. So all type of fat which remains solid on room temperature, they are made in such a way. Now, one of the most popular product out of this category was dalda, or it is also called dalda ghee. So now this dalda ghee or cream roll or whatever it is, this all is example of third type of fat which is not natural, which is made by humans, that is named as trans fats. You have to remember that trans fats are most dangerous for human heart. Now, why they are dangerous for human heart? One more thing you have to remember, whenever you are talking about fats or whenever you are talking about lipids, you know very well that digestion of fats will take longer time. In fact, longest time is taken in digestion of fats. Now, how they are dangerous to your health? So you have to remember that fats or liquids, whenever you are fats or lipids, whenever you are talking about it, they remains in blood. Now they remains in blood. Everything remains in blood, but they remains in blood in two forms. One is HDL, other one is LDL. Now HDL is high density lipoproteins, and LDL is low density lipoproteins. Low density and this is high density. Now you always remember, you have to remember this thing, that high density lipoprotein or high density lipids, they are considered good fats, and low density lipids, they are considered bad fats. This is also named as bad cholesterol, and this is also named as good cholesterol. You should remember one thing, that the level of HDL in a healthy person, in healthy person's blood profile, okay, this test is named as lipid profile test, LPT. Now, the blood of anyone whose examination is going on should contain HDL around 60 units only, and LDL should be below 100 units, and the total of LDL plus HDL should be below 200. One more type of LDL is there that is more dangerous, that is VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. This should be below 30. Now what will happen if this type of cholesterol will increase? You have to remember this thing, that cholesterol is essential for our body. Now why cholesterol is essential? Remember that cholesterol is produced by hepatic cells. Whenever I am saying hepatic, that means I am talking about liver cells. Now why? ये गेट बंद कर दो भैया. Now I need to take herbal kada to continue this class. So kindly excuse me for the sips in between the, you can say, lecture. Now see, whenever you are talking about liver cells are the producers of cholesterol. Now why you need cholesterol? So always remember that all the cell membranes, in cells there are cell membranes. Cell membranes are like walls of the cells. They are made up of cholesterol. They are containing lipids. Many of the hormones, especially sex hormones, they are containing cholesterols. And cholesterol is required for many other processes. We are not going into the depth of this biochemistry, but you have to remember this thing, that cholesterol is essential for our body. But it is dangerous. Whenever cholesterol, in terms of low density cholesterol, is increased in your body. So how it is dangerous? You have to look here by the point of view of GK. There are 4 chambers in your heart. Now this is left ventricle. This is left atrium. This is right atrium. This is right ventricle. Now you have to focus on left ventricle. Now left ventricle is the largest out of 4 chambers. Remember this thing. This is largest out of 4 chambers, and the wall of left atrium is slightly thicker than the walls of rest of the chambers of your body, of your heart. Now from this left atrium, the oxygenated blood, always remember there are 2 types of blood. One is oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means the hemoglobin of this blood is associated or attached with oxygen. That's why it is oxygenated blood. Remember one thing, that the color of hemoglobin is blue. The color of hemoglobin is blue. In hemoglobin, I told you yesterday, ferrous is there and there are 4 chains of amino acids. Now, whenever the hemoglobin is going to attach with oxygen, so how many molecules it can attach with itself? So it will convert into ferric state, and suddenly when oxygen is attached, there are 4 molecules of oxygen it can attach to 1 molecule of hemoglobin. So when it will convert into ferric state, its color will become red. Always remember, because of this red color and because of presence of this oxyhemoglobin, our blood which is oxygenated, it appears red. So red blood is a result of oxygenated form of hemoglobin which is containing ferric form of iron. Now see, whenever your body is dealing with this oxygenated form of blood, it is always going to remain on left side of the chambers of your heart. Now when oxygenated blood will enter from left atrium to left ventricle, and when it will left your left ventricle, see, it is kind of, you can say, this is beauty of language. It will left the left atrium. When oxygenated blood will left the left atrium, it will left through a vessel. This vessel is the largest blood vessel of your body. This question has been asked 2 times in civil services exams. Once in RAS prelims it has been asked, and once in IAS it has been asked. So when the blood will left the left atrium, left ventricle, it will left with the path which is named as aorta. Aorta is the largest blood vessel of your body. So the purpose of aorta is to ensure the distribution of oxygenated blood to all the vital organs of your body. So now, when aorta is, you can say, carrying the responsibility to distribute the oxygenated blood to all the parts of your body, so from aorta there are different type of arteries or branches of aortas are going out of the aorta. For example, there will be hepatic artery. The purpose of hepatic artery is to supply oxygenated blood to liver. There will be carotid artery. The purpose of carotid artery is to give supply to your brain. In the same way, there will be one artery with 2 branches which will give supply of oxygenated blood to heart itself, because heart itself is an organ. Out of my salary, I need to take out some money for myself also. I'm earning for my family, but I need to spend some amount of money on myself also. In the same way, heart is provided with duty to pump the oxygenated blood to all the vital organs of body, but heart itself is an organ. So heart also needs oxygen. Heart cells or muscle cells of heart, or you can say specialized cells of heart, they also need oxygen. So out of the total supply of blood, a big chunk will be consumed by heart itself. So when heart will consume the blood, it will be consumed from an artery. 2 branches of that artery. You need to remember the name of this artery, and this artery is the artery which is supplying to brain is named as carotid artery, but the artery which is supplying to heart is named as coronary artery. Now whenever anyone's blood is having higher levels of LDL, low density lipoproteins, they will start to get deposited over the coronary artery. Now because of deposition of this thing, the lumen part of artery will get shrinked. So as a result of this, there will be deposition of plaque. Plaque means barrier which is stopping the blood to flow through the artery. So because of deposition of this plaque, there will be less supply of oxygenated blood. Because of less supply of oxygenated blood, this condition will lead to problem in the myocardial cells. Myocardial means heart related cells. So as a result of this, the patient will face angina. Now what is angina, if they are going to ask you? Because of lack of oxygen in heart cells, there will be pinpointed pain that will be named as angina pectoris or angina. I'm not going beyond the books of 11th NCRT. All the things are mentioned in 11th NCRT. Now, after this, the second thing is, because of less supply, the heart will stop to function, or any type of discomfort can lead to heart attack. And as a result of this, the doctor will diagnose the patient with a disease named as coronary artery disease or atherosclerosis. So what is coronary artery disease or atherosclerosis? Because of deposition of bad fats or bad cholesterol or low density lipoproteins or VLDL, very low density lipoproteins in the blood streams, the flow of blood in coronary artery will get affected. This is named as CAD, coronary artery disease. Now, what will be the line of treatment for this coronary artery disease? You know very well that first thing will be ECG. It is also named as EKG, electrocardiogram. After electrocardiogram or electrocardiography, the name of test is electrocardiography and name of result is electrocardiogram. You know very well that electrocardiogram is performed like this, and in this what is checked or what is tested? So in your blood on right atrium there is you can say pacemaker of your heart, which is named as sino-auricular node or SA node, sino-auricular node. From here the impulse is generated, then after it will travel towards AV node. Here is AV node, and from AV node, bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. Bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. So these are the four, you can say, terminals from where the charge or impulse will propagate. So this is measured in terms of voltage with reference to time. So there are two axes, one is voltage and other one is, so polarization and depolarization is measured here with the help of ECG or EKG. Now the second thing you need to remember is the doctor will perform angiography. Now what is angio? Angiology is the branch of medical science which deals with the study of blood flow in the blood vessels. Now, what is angiography? Now, angiography is the study to study the flow of blood. Oh wow! I can see Rajendra sir is also here. RAS RPS. Hello, good evening sir. Good evening Rajendra sir. राजेंद्र सर जो है हिंदी मीडियम में राजस्थान जी के बहुत ही अलग तरीके से प्रेजेंट करते हैं, बहुत ही गजब का प्रेजेंटेशन है. मैं तो खुद इनकी क्लास कई बार देखता हूं बैठ के शाम को, और बड़े अच्छे क्वेश्चंस लाते हैं बना के ये. गुड इवनिंग सर. नाउ सी, सो थर्ड थिंग द डॉक्टर विल परफॉर्म इज एंजियोप्लास्टी. Now what is angioplasty? For now you have to remember only one thing. With the help of a guide wire, doctor will try to open the clot, or doctor will try to remove the plaque, the barrier which is prepared by the deposition of fat. It will be removed by doctor. That is named as angioplasty. So this is about heart, the basics of heart which can be asked with reference to fat deposition. Always remember that on the basis of food habits, you can avoid a lot of diseases. That's why balanced diet or balanced food is added into your syllabus. Now next disease about which I want to talk under this segment of zoonotic diseases is MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. Always remember, in the territory of UAE, first of all, it was discovered. Now Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, the name itself indicating, always remember that this is associated with corona family of viruses. So if there is coronavirus, that means this is RNA virus. Now this disease is spreaded from camel to human. That's why it is an example of what? Yes, this is an example of zoonotic disease or zoonotic infection. It can be very serious and life-threatening, but by the grace of God, we were able to manage it timely, and because we were able to manage it timely, that's why you can say it was not spreaded in a pandemic way. It was endemic. Endemic and pandemic, you know very well. Pandemic means something has spreaded in pan area or pan level, and endemic means if something is limited up to a particular area. For example, malaria is an endemic of India. Always remember, malaria is endemic for India, while COVID was pandemic. Now next is the most you can say favorite question of RPSC, COVID-19. So whenever they are going to talk about COVID-19, you need to remember one thing, that COVID-19 was first of all diagnosed in China. Now from here you have to remember one thing, that pneumonia for BSc and MSc people, and for the books of BSc, MSc or somewhere in NCRTs also, it is mentioned that pneumonia is an example of bacterial infection or bacterial disease. But you will be shocked to know that in reality it is not always bacterial infection. It can be bacterial, it can be viral infection, it can be fungal infection, or it can be because of pollution also. Anything can lead to pneumonia. One thing you have to remember. So COVID-19 was a pneumonia, but it was caused by virus. So it was viral pneumonia. So by the doctors, it was reported in China, in Wuhan city, everyone knows that there is a new type of virus. And the doctor who reported it himself, he died. And all the people who were in contact with that doctor, they died within few days. So they diagnosed that this is a coronavirus. So they named this coronaviral disease 2019. Now from corona, they picked up CO. From viral, they picked up VI, and from disease, they picked up D. So that's how it was formed, COVID. And because the year 2019, so they said COVID-19. Now, what was COVID-19? What was special about COVID-19? The special thing about COVID-19 was not the spike proteins. The special thing about COVID-19 was not that it was from corona family. For many people, it was first time that they are hearing the name corona, but for doctors, it was not new. Then what was new? The new thing was the structure of RNA. This type of genetic structure or this type of RNA was never observed by the scientists. That's why they named it as a new disease. Now, why COVID-19 is said to be, you can say, zoonotic disease, or is said to be a zoonotic infection? Because it was from the SARS origin. SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. That's why it is also named as SARS-CoV. And everyone knows that SARS is an example of zoonotic infection. Now, whenever you are talking about COVID-19, the most important aspect of COVID-19 is not the treatment or 3 gaj ki duri, mask hai zaruri. No, these things are not important. The important thing is COVID vaccines. So whenever they are going to ask you about the vaccines, I will tell you here the concepts of vaccines. There are 4 basic type of vaccines. I will tell you the concepts of these vaccines, and you have to do one thing. You have to type on the and you have to search over the Google that the vaccine about which you are studying is which type of vaccine. I will not teach you the examples of vaccines. I will teach you how the vaccines are made, how they are prepared, and then after you can correlate all type of examples, because it doesn't matter that what is the name of vaccine. You can search the name of company, you can search the name of you can say vaccine maker, you can search the name of anything, but the concept is important. So the first type of approach is whole virus approach. Now you need to understand this concept very carefully if you are facing problem in reading the corona vaccines or COVID vaccines. So whole virus approach, it is also named as whole virion vaccines. So whenever you are talking about the virion vaccines or whole virion vaccines, you have to remember one thing, that this is the virus of corona. Here are the spike proteins. Now what we will do with the help of radiation, it can be, you can say gamma radiation, it can be some kind of other radiation, UV radiation, with the help of radiation or with the help of heat or with the help of certain chemicals which are selected by us. With the help of heat, with the help of radiation or with the help of, you can say, chemicals, we will inactivate the virus. So here the virus is active virus of COVID. When it is treated with such agents, it will converted into inactivated virus, but it will remain a virus. So now it is inactivated virus. Now this inactivated virus is the vaccine. So this inactivated virus is injected in the blood, and as a result of this, your immune system will prepare antibodies against this. Yes, Abhilasha, absolutely correct. The first vaccine of India which was prepared was Covaxin. And Covaxin was prepared by which company? You people are supposed to tell me in the comments. And you know very well that Covaxin, the founders of that company, they were awarded Padma. They were awarded Padma Award. So you have to tell me the names of people that who were awarded Padma. See, some of the things I will tell you, some of the things you will mention in the comments. So it is your duty. If I'm giving you something good, it is your duty to follow my instructions. That's how we all have to learn. Got it? So your task is to type the name of company which was producer of Covaxin. Then you have to mention the names of the people from that company who were awarded Padma Award. You know very well that Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, all these awards are categorized under Padma Award. Who were awarded Padma for the development of Covaxin. And third thing, you have to remember one more thing, that Covaxin was the reason behind one of the, you can say, highest level of diplomatic efforts by India, and that was named as vaccine diplomacy. And the effect of vaccine diplomacy have been seen, have been observed in the recent meetings of BRICS. Because in the recent meetings of BRICS, if you have seen, Brazil was always speaking in favor of India. Why this was happening? Because India have exported a lot of vaccines of Covaxin to Brazil. When Brazil was in need, we helped them. We helped Nepal. We helped Venezuela. We have exported these vaccines to Bhutan. A lot of countries were benefited out of this. Yes, Bharat Biotech was the name of the company. But my question is, who was awarded with Padma? So this is one type of vaccine approach, or this is one type of vaccine which is prepared for COVID. Now, second type of approach. Second type of approach is named as vector-based vaccines. Now, whenever I am talking about vector means there will be some kind of transporter. Now, this some kind of transporter, who is this transporter? So, in this case, there is a virus which is adenovirus. Adenovirus will work as vector. Now, what is adenovirus? So, you have to remember, adenovirus is a virus which can cause influenza in chimpanzees. So chimps got, you can say, influenza because of adenovirus. Okay, now what else? Now we will do one magic. What is magic? This is our favorite target, COVID-19 virus. Yes, Manaram is absolutely correct. Krishna Illi and Suchitra Illi, exactly. Abhilasha, no need to hesitate. If you need, you can go to Google and you can ask Google that Google help me. Got it? And ask from Google in place of recalling the wrong names. Now this is COVID-19 virus. Now what we will do, we will take out the RNA of this virus. Now out of this RNA of virus, you have to remember, we will take out the segment of RNA which can produce or which is responsible for spike proteins. So now what we will do, we will inject this into this. So as a result of this, this white portion is the RNA of adenovirus, and with this you will attach the segment of RNA virus which is responsible for producing spike proteins. So as a result of this, adenovirus system will be hijacked by this segment of RNA of COVID-19. So as a result of this, adenovirus will get the spike proteins of COVID-19 spike proteins. Now this thing will be injected into human body. When this thing will be injected into human body, what will happen as an effect of this? Your immune system will prepare antibodies. Antibodies to fight against a virus which is carrying spike proteins plus which is capable to cause influenza-like infections. Now, if you will try to compare it with the COVID-19, you will say this is exactly the same thing. COVID-19 is capable to cause influenza, and COVID-19 is the virus which is carrying spike proteins. So because of this virus, your immune system will prepare antibodies. So you will be ready for the infection. So this is second type of vaccine, and the best example of this vector vaccine or adenovirus vector vaccine is the vaccine which was prepared by Oxford AstraZeneca. Oxford AstraZeneca. Now, what is Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine? In India, you will never hear this term. This Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine was licensed in India and it was produced with the name Covishield by the famous biotech company of India, Serum Institute of India. So that is all about Covishield. One of you was saying, please, sir, please tell us the difference between Covishield and Covaxin. So hopefully I have mentioned here the difference between them. Then after, third type of vaccine. Third type of vaccine is protein subunit vaccines. So what are protein subunit vaccines? For preparing the protein subunit vaccines, this is we are very familiar about this structure now. You can guess what is this. This is COVID-19 virus. Now what we will do, we will take out all the spike proteins of this virus. Now these spike proteins will be mixed with some of the chemicals, and chemicals which are used to enhance the efficiency of vaccine, they are named as adjuvants. Always remember, adjuvants are added into many of the vaccines. So whenever you are studying any of the vaccine, please confirm that you should be aware of this thing, that in which of the vaccine adjuvants are present, in which vaccine adjuvants are not present. Adjuvants are kind of, you can say, toxic chemicals which are harmful to your body, but they helps us to trigger a good immune response. Whenever I am injecting any of the vaccine to any of the body, it doesn't matter that it is a human or animal, my purpose is to ignite a response in the immune system of that organism or that particular entity. So the immune system's response is triggered more quickly with the presence of adjuvants. So that's why adjuvants are added into the vaccines. Because of effect to adjuvants, you may have experienced some kind of pain or some kind of tingling sensation in your hands when you were injected with the vaccines. So this is third type of vaccine. You are supposed to type one more thing here. Who is the authority from Serum Institute of India Limited which was awarded Padma for Covishield? One thing. Second thing, you are supposed to type example of protein subunit vaccine. I am waiting for your response. Now, fourth type of vaccine is RNA vaccine. Now, what is RNA vaccine? This is COVID-19 virus. Now, out of this virus, we have taken out the RNA of COVID-19. Now, from this RNA, we are supposed to take out the subunit or segment of RNA which is responsible for, you can say, production of spike proteins. So this is injected in human body. When this is injected in human body, this is human body cell, this virus will go and this will hijack the system of few of the cells, few of the muscle cells of your body. So as a result of this, your muscle cells will start to grow with spike proteins. As soon as they will grow the spike protein, and because now they are hijacked by the foreign particle or foreign genetic material, which is RNA of COVID-19. So as a result of this, your body will start to prepare antibodies against this. This is the most, you can say, popular RNA vaccine of USA. So far there is no response from your side. I'm waiting for you people to comment and tell me that what is the example of, which is the example of RNA vaccine also. RNA mutations are always an issue in case of COVID, not only in COVID-19, all the diseases. Mutation or mutant means simply they have changed their genetic structure. And because of change in their genetic coding, there will be change in the protein coat or protein sheet or of the virus or protective envelope of the virus. Because of this, the virus will be more resistant to the existing medicine system. That's why every time whenever there is a new variant of corona, there is a news of alert that scientists are afraid that this can be resistant to a lot of things. But so far we are lucky that our vaccines are most effective over the world, co-vaccines as well as Covishield. Co-vaccine was one of the most successful. Yes, Pfizer was an example of this thing. So we are done with COVID vaccines. Now, next thing is, they can ask you some of the examples of bacterial infections. Whenever you are talking about bacterial infections, you have to remember 2-3 things. First thing is, bacterial infections are they are very popular among the paper setters, or they are very popular when you talk about how many questions can be asked. I will say bacterial infections are present in BSc books, MSc books, 11th, 12th NCRTs. So they are one of the most popular infections in the people who are going to study the science with the point of view of general knowledge. Now, the first bacterial infection which is popular in India is TB. Now, why TB is famous and infamous in India? The first reason is, yes, Kritika, Cyrus Poonawala, yes, absolutely correct. Now, TB, the cause of TB is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Right now, you need to remember the name Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Second thing is TB Day. TB Day is observed on 24th of which month? You have to tell me. Then after, third thing, for TB, you have to remember this is the rank number 1 in terms of disease which led to death. People who are dying because of disease, out of them, the number 1 cause of death because of disease is TB. Now, TB, whenever you are studying TB, you have to understand the treatment system which is named as DOTS. Directly Observed Treatment Short Course. Don't forget this full form. D for directly, O for observed, T for treatment, S for short course. Directly Observed Treatment Short Course. This is free of cost, available in India, and there are medicines. The main medicine is rifamycin or rifampicin. This is the first thing, which is rifamycin or rifampicin is antibiotic medicine. Then after there is ethambutol, then there is isoniazid, then there is pyrazinamide. These are the 4 essential components of DOTS. Okay, 24th March, yes, absolutely correct. Next question for you people is, what is the target year for DREAM under which they are saying TB free India? TB free India. Just imagine there is a question, what is the target for TB free India? 2025, 2030, 2026, 2024, which is the target year for TB free India. So what will be your answer? Now, these 4 medicines, rifamycin, ethambutol, isoniazid and pyrazinamide, they are available free of cost. And remember one more thing, TB Free India campaign is running a portal. The name of portal is Nucleus portal. If anyone who is registered on this portal as a patient, then he will get some kind of, you can say, financial aid every month that will be named as Nucleus Poshan Yojana. Nucleus Poshan scheme. Yes, exactly. 2025 is the target year for TB free India. Dhanushri, now for you the next question is, what is the target year for India to be malaria free? What is the target year for India to be malaria free? And one more thing that is very important is, Abhilasha, you have to answer, or anyone other is there, which day is observed as Malaria Day? It is 25th. Which 25th is observed as Malaria Day? So there are two questions for Dhanushri. The question is, which year is target year for Malaria Free India? And second question is, which day is observed as Malaria Day in India? Now, whenever you are talking about TB, you have to talk about Nucleus portal, you have to talk about Nucleus Poshan Yojana, you have to talk about DOTS. But what about the testing of TB? Whenever you are talking about testing of TB, you have to remember the most common test for TB is ESR. Now, ESR, E for erythrocytes, S for sedimentation, R for rate. So TB, initially it is tested by means of testing the erythrocyte sedimentation. We will put the blood of patient in a test tube or in a pipette and we will wait for the erythrocytes to get settled down. You know very well that whenever we will allow the blood to settle down, the RBC will settle down in the downward side. So in how many minutes the RBCs are settling, that is named as erythrocyte sedimentation rate. If anyone is having tuberculosis infection, the ESR will be higher than 20. First thing. Second thing, doctor will go for Mentox skin test. Mentox skin test is a test in which doctor will inject a kind of chemical into your skin layers, and then after there will be formation of ring. That's why sometimes it is named as Mentox ring test also. And then after, sputum test. Sputum test means the secretions of your nasopharyngeal area, they will be tested for the presence of bacteria, which is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So I think that is enough for TB. Second disease is leprosy. Always remember that last Sunday of January month is observed as Leprosy Day. And the bacteria of leprosy is Mycobacterium leprae. Mycobacterium leprae. Now, leprosy is also considered as Hansen disease. Why it is named as Hansen disease? Because Hansen's disease, yes, it is 25th of April, exactly. And 2030 is our target to make India malaria free. So always remember 2030, 2030. Yes, it will be quite difficult for us. Okay, Manish Rai sir is also with us. Manish Rai, the Manish Rai is saying that revision class Hindi medium is available on Samyak application. So people who want to attend the Hindi medium revision classes, they can come over the Samyak application. Okay, so these YouTube classes are available only for English medium students, and for Hindi medium students, जो हिंदी मीडियम वाले बच्चे हैं, सॉरी मैं ऐसे बोलता हूँ, हिंदी माध्यम वाले विद्यार्थी यदि रिवीजन, अब रिवीजन को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं तुम लोग बताना मेरे को, रिवीजन क्लासेस अटेंड करना चाहते हैं तो सम्यक की एप्लीकेशन पर वे कक्षाएं उपलब्ध करा दी गई हैं या करा दी जाएंगी, जो भी है मनीष राय सर ने इंस्ट्रक्शन डाली है यहाँ पर. ओके, now whenever you are talking about leprosy, you have to remember MDT, multi drug therapy. What is multi-drug therapy? In case of TB, we were giving the patient multiple drugs. Here also, we will give multiple drugs. But they have asked many times that which is the main drug of leprosy. So you have to answer again rifampicin or rifamycin, the same drug which was the main drug of TB. Again, you have to remember this is also an antibiotic. So rifamycin is a drug of choice in two cases. One is TB, other one is leprosy. Now, many years ago, there was a disease, there was a medicine named Dapsone. So they have asked, till the day Dapsone is present in MSc books, so they keep on asking, Dapsone is the drug which is used to cure. So you have to answer what? Leprosy. Leprosy is cured by means of Depson. Now there is one abhiyan or one campaign named as Sparsh Abhiyan. Now Sparsh Abhiyan is world's largest campaign to find out all the patients who are suffering with leprosy. After leprosy, you have to remember pneumonia. Now, whenever you are talking about pneumonia, we are talking about the lungs infection which is caused by bacteria, because we are studying bacterial diseases. So, whenever you are talking about the bacterial infections, you have to remember that this bacterial infection is a result of Diplococcus or Streptococcus pneumoniae. The name of bacteria is Diplococcus pneumoniae or Streptococcus pneumoniae. Because of this, pneumonia is happening. Now, one more thing you have to remember, nebulization or nebulizer. Nebulizer is the facility with the help of steam. The drug is given directly into the nasopharyngeal tract of the patient. That is named as nebulization. How it is spreading? So, you have to say this is an example of droplet infection. One more thing you need to remember, in India, to avoid TB, one type of vaccine is given, that is named as BCG. So whenever they are going to ask you what is BCG, you have to say Bacillus calmette-guerin. Bacillus calmette-guerin. Now they will ask you what is Bacillus calmette-guerin. You have to say BCG. It is a vaccine which is given to avoid the infections of tuberculosis. Now, when the BCG is given, always remember BCG is given at the age of 0 days. What is the meaning of 0 days? 0 days means the infant or the newborn, he is of less than 24 hours of age. That time you are supposed to give him, BCG. BCG is given on the arm of the baby. Now, one more thing you have to remember, when the patient is 0 days, he is also provided with OPV0, oral polio vaccine. Oral polio vaccine. 0 means 0 days baby is. And one more dose is given, that's Hep B vaccine. Now, Hep B vaccine is going to save the baby from hepatitis B infection. Then after, fourth disease, which is bacterial infection and which can be asked in your exam, is Vishali S. Thakur. Good evening. Thank you so much for these valuable classes in last leg of revision. Oh, thanks to you all for being a wonderful audience. Okay, now, and thanks to all for following your dreams with such a, you can say, motivation. I keep on saying that we need to make this world a better place, and this world will be a better place when everyone will be busy in his or her own business. That is according to my opinion, that is a solution to all the problems. Keep everyone busy in his mission or her mission. So you are busy in your mission, I am busy with my mission. Okay, so let's start. Let's do with the fourth type of disease. So fourth bacterial infection which can be asked, actually it is associated with a trio of DPT. Now DPT, D stands for diphtheria. This is fourth disease. P stands for pertussis. This is fifth disease. And T stands for tetanus. So tetanus is sixth disease. So fourth, fifth and sixth, we will do three together. Now, first of all, they will ask you bacteria. So name of bacteria which is causing diphtheria is Corynebacter diphtheri. Corynebacter diphtheri. No need to go with the spelling struggle or something like that. Whenever you are having a doubt that how I will write the spelling, you have to remember that for prelims purpose you have to just go and take it. So Corynebacter or Corynebacter diphtheri is the bacteria of diphtheria. Then after, what is the bacteria of pertussis? Bordetella pertussis is the bacteria of pertussis. And what is the bacteria of tetanus? So Clostridium tetani is the bacteria which is causing tetanus. Now, what are the symptoms of diphtheria? They are going to ask you this thing, because in India this disease is named as Galghotu. From here you can remember the symptoms. Galghotu means there are two pipes in my, you can say, throat, everyone's throat. There are two pipes. One is trachea. So trachea is made up of C-shaped rings. This hollow pipe, which is named as trachea, is the windpipe. Other than this, there is a food pipe also, but within the, you can say, windpipe, there is one organ which is like this, and this organ is your larynx. Larynx is your voice box. Whenever you are speaking anything, the voice is coming out of larynx. So diphtheria or corynebacter diphtheria will cause inflammation into your larynx, inflammation into your voice box. Because of inflammation into your voice box, your windpipe will be blocked. And when your windpipe will get blocked, your body will not be able to breathe in. As a result of this, the gaseous exchange will get hindered. That's why patient will feel like someone is pressing his throat area. That's why it is named as galghotu. Now, diphtheria is a infection which is going to spread by means of droplets. That's why all the doctors are strictly against one tradition in India, that is what they call najar utarna. So what people will do in a stupid way, they will hold the baby which is newborn. The baby is almost devoid of all type of antibodies, excluding some of the antibodies, immunoglobulins, which are crossing the placenta. And some of the very few of the antibodies the baby is receiving from the breast milk. And yesterday I advised all of you that you people should Google it. There are 5 types of antibodies. I mentioned it yesterday. If you skipped the yesterday session, you need to Google one thing: which antibody is capable to cross the placenta and which antibody is received in breast milk by the babies. Other than that, baby is crystal clear. His body is not carrying any kind of antibodies, and what the stupid people will do, they will hold up the baby in their hands like this, and then after they will do thu. Isko nazar nahi lagni chahiye. You are not protecting or you are not defending the baby, you are ensuring the infections into the body of baby. This is wrong. People of Vedic age were more clever and more logical than the stupid people of today. Why they were more clever, more logical? If you will study the 16 rituals of, you can say, of the life of a person in the Vedic age, you will come to know there was a proper prohibition. There was a proper prohibition up to the age of 40 days of baby. No one will see him other than the mother of the baby. And on 40th day, they will expose the baby to the sun. This was a ritual in the Vedic age. So people of Vedic age were more scientific and more logical than today's people. Now see, come here. This is all about diphtheria. Now the vaccine DPT, in vaccine DPT, D stands for diphtheria. Got it? Then after, yes, absolutely correct, Abhilasha. IgM is crossing the placenta and IgA is received by the breast milk. Now, second is pertussis. Pertussis is named as whooping cough. You have to remember this thing. Bordetella pertussis is the bacteria of whooping cough. Whooping cough is also named as 100 days cough because it stays for a longer time. Got it? Then after, we have to go for one more thing. What is that? Pertussis is also spreading by means of droplet infection. Then after, third thing you need to remember, in DPT, P stands for pertussis. Got it? And then after, there is tetanus, Clostridium tetani. Whenever you are going to talk about Clostridium tetani, you have to remember which organ system is targeted by tetanus. So many of the times people will say tetanus is going to target your muscles. Tetanus is going to target your central nervous system. And because it is going to target your central nervous system, next thing which will get damaged will be, your muscles. So what is the primary symptom of tetanus? This question has been asked 2 times in different exams of Rajasthan. The primary symptom of tetanus is jamming of muscles or jaw lock. The patient will be like this. And because the muscles will be jammed, that's why this disease is also named as Bow disease. If you'll Google it, and if you'll enter tetanus, and if you'll go to any of the, you can say, website, you will came to know that the body of the patient will become like a bow. As we do chakrasan, like that the patient will be. So you have to tie the patient in the same situation, and it is very difficult to cure it. Now, tetanus can be caused by means of bacteria Clostridium tetani. Now, people who are from science background, they are very well about the process of spore formation. Whenever some of the bacteria, imagine that this is a bacterial cell and they are facing a kind of threat. So whenever they are going to face any kind of threat, they will prepare a kind of encapsulated structure that is named as spore. These spores are capable to face hunger, thirst and temperature, all the things. So these spores, they always remain present in the soil and they remain present in the rusted iron. They remain present many times in the wooden articles. They remain present in nails also. They can be present in nails also. So whenever you are going to face any kind of injury, your skin will be disrupted because your skin is a continuous barrier. So whenever any of the injury is leading to, you can say, rupture of your barrier, as a result of this spore will enter into your body. And when the spore will enter into your body, it will get converted into, when the spore will enter into your body, it will get converted into the bacterium. And this will lead to infection. That's why it is said that whenever you are going to get an injury, you are supposed to get the TT shots. TT shots are necessary whenever you are going to get an injury. It is a common myth, common misconception among the people that they keep on saying that only the iron injury or the injury because of some iron object can cause tetanus. No, even the injury of nails, even the injury of wooden articles, if you get injured by means of, you can say, glass or something else, that can also lead you to tetanus. Now, nowadays, we have done one development in the vaccination schedule of India. What is that development? Remember that we have introduced pentavalent vaccines. Pentavalent vaccine is one vaccine for 5 diseases. 5 diseases are DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, plus Hep B, hepatitis B, plus Haemophilus influenzae. Always remember, this is bacterial disease, this is bacterial disease, this is bacterial, this is viral disease, this is again viral disease. So there is one vaccine available for 5 infections named pentavalent vaccine. And in the schedule of India's immunization schedule, in Government of India's schedule, it is like this: 1.5 month, 2.5 month and 3.5 month. That means 6 weeks, 10 weeks and 14 weeks. Penta 1, Penta 2 and Penta 3. 3 doses are supposed to be administered to the kid. Bilasha, IgG. Oh, you people are discussing over that. Let me tell you. Let me clear it. Let me make it very clear that this is placenta and this is baby. So by means of placenta, the mother will gift IgG, and by means of breast milk, the mother will gift IgA breast milk and IgG from the, yes, placenta. Next disease, which is bacterial and you need to remember, is plague. The bacteria of plague is Yersinia pestis and vector of plague is tick or a kind of parasite which is present in the hair of rodents. It is not always rats, it is not always mice, it is rodents. Rodents means any animal which is habitual to eat up the things just to keep their teeth in a shape. Rodents, they keep on, like we call it kutarna. So the animals which are habitual to eat up the things in a manner which is called kutarna, they are named as rodents. So rodents or rodenticides, so they are used to control the population of rats. This question is very much popular in general chemistry, that which rodenticide is very much popular in India. So you have to remember zinc phosphide. Tablets of zinc phosphide are used very much to kill the rats, because rats are a kind of, you can say, enemy of farmers. Then after next disease they can ask you is syphilis. Syphilis is an example of STD, sexually transmitted disease. STD, sexually transmitted disease. Now the bacteria of syphilis. Bacteria of syphilis is it slipped out of my head. Let me recall the name of bacteria of syphilis. Yes, Treponema pallidum. Treponema pallidum. Treponema pallidum is the name of bacteria of syphilis. Now, syphilis is going to affect your, you can say, genitals. Genitals will have a wound. But remember that the initial stage of syphilis will be cured itself. But in the later stage of syphilis, the body will have wounds, and in the more developed phase, it will cause heart attack. So the patient can die because of heart attack. Actually, he was suffering with syphilis. Now, one more disease is gonorrhea. One more disease is gonorrhea. The bacteria of gonorrhea is Neisseria gonorrhea. You have to remember Neisseria gonorrhea. Name of disease is gonorrhea. Gonorrhea in India is named as Sujak. So this is also an example of STD, sexually transmitted disease. In case of gonorrhea, the patient will develop, a kind of, you can say, blisters or pimples on the genitals. This is also going to affect the genital system. Then after we will talk about some of the viral infections. The most popular viral infection which can be asked in exam is polio. So polio is caused by a virus named poliomyelitis. Poliomyelitis, enterovirus. Remember this? Poliomyelitis is it is named as enterovirus. Now, poliomyelitis enterovirus is going to affect your central nervous system. Remember this. Because of central nervous system, it will again enter in your body through different mediums, but it will target your spine. It will target your spinal cord, and from spinal cord it will enter into your brain. Because of this thing, it will cause muscle deformations, and that's why the patient who is suffering with the polio will face a kind of handicapped or specially abled situation. Now, whenever you are studying polio, you have to study one more thing, that polio can be transmitted by means of contaminated food. It can be transmitted by means of fecal matter. It can be transmitted by means of contaminated water. So it can be transmitted by means of oral routes. So that's why it is a point of worry. So in India, the mission, which is like we have to make toilets in every house. We have to stop the open defecation. That is in favor of polio eradication program of India. Now it is your duty to study about when the anti-TB program was started, when the anti-leprosy program was started, and when the anti-polio program was started. But here you have to remember year 2011. This was the last time when one patient of polio was observed in West Bengal, Howrah district. This was the last patient of polio. And one more thing you have to remember, 2012, India declared itself as a polio-free, and in 2014, WHO declared India polio-free country. Now you have to remember one more thing, polio vaccines. They can ask you, polio vaccines are of two types, OPV and IPV. OPV means oral polio vaccine, the vaccine which is given by oral route. OPV 0, OPV 1, OPV 2, OPV 3. Remember that OPV 1, OPV 2, OPV 3 and OPV 0. 0 is given when the kid of 0 days. 1 is given when kid of 6 weeks. 2 is given when 10 weeks. Third is given when the kid is of 14 weeks. Now, OPV, oral polio vaccine, was developed by which scientist? This question has been asked many times. Sir, I am watching your classes, started a little late, currently studying HIV topics. Sir, it is requested not to take us examples while explaining. Please take examples of some imaginary person XYZ. Oh, I am not aware what I said in the, you can say, did you know 11 hi Neha? Arey baba, ये अलग ही conversation करने आ गए बीच में. हाँ जी. Okay, you imagine XYZ. Now see. Whenever you are talking about polio vaccine, you have to understand there are two types of vaccines, OPV and IPV. Now they will ask you the names of scientists. So always remember the OPV, it was developed by Albert Sabin, and IPV was developed by John Salk. You have to remember these two names. John Salk is the mind behind the development of, yes, IPV. IPV is inactivated polio vaccine. Inactivated, I have mentioned in the COVID segment. What is inactivated? And oral polio vaccine. This is not inactivated vaccine, but this is given by oral route. Now, always remember, yes, I accepted both the things. Your apology, good, that you are so kind. And I am not aware what I have said in flow, but if I said that, then I will take care. XYZ I will say. Okay, next time. Now see, मैं क्या भूल जाता हूँ फिर से. चलो, now come back to the track. Now IPV. Whenever you are talking about IPV, it is given by John Salk. Now there is one issue with OPV. Now what is that issue with OPV? You have to remember, India, government of India is now trying to shift from OPV to completely IPV. Why we are going to switch from OPV to IPV? You have to remember this thing. First of all, we introduced only OPV. That was like your childhood. And that was my time when I was about to enter in the college. You have to remember your childhood. There were missions going on, दो बूंद जिंदगी की, एक भी बच्चा छूटा, सुरक्षा चक्र टूटा. These were the terms used by government of India in different slogans. And that was the time when OPV was introduced. And I think all of you can drag back yourself into the memories of childhood when you have consumed a lot of drops on the name of oral drops. And many of the girls and boys out of you are not even, they have consumed more than one doses in the same day. Because there were reports in the medical department that in India, आज जितने बच्चों का vaccination हुआ, उससे ज़्यादा doses consume हुआ. So how it is possible? It is possible only when एक बच्चा दो बार पी रहा था. So that was OPV. Now we came to know about one more thing, that when OPV is going to enter into your system, because it is not inactivated, so it is when it is going to enter into your system with your fecal matter, or with your excreta, there will be live virus. Now, whenever any kid who is not vaccinated will came into contact with your fecal matter, he will get polio because of vaccinated child. So, because of these reports, government was advised by the experts that you should switch in a phased manner from OPV to IPV. So, government of India decided that yes, we will do it. So, we first of all, we started OPV plus IPV. So right now we are in a phase in which we are giving the children with OPV as well as IPV. So there are two fractional doses of IPV right now in the immunization program of India. IPV1 and IPV2 are given respectively at the age of 6 weeks and 14 weeks. That means 1.5 month and 3.5 month. Got it? 6 week and 14th week. IPV1 and IPV2. These doses are given. And very soon we will switch from OPV to IPV. One more thing you have to remember here, that polio, yes, it is eradicated from India completely, but right now, recently, IR is affecting the polio status of India. How the IR is affecting the polio status of India, we are very much proud of our Operation Ganga. Operation Ganga is, you remember, we have saved a lot of refugees from Afghanistan. Now, a lot of people who are Sikhs and Hindus, they are in India now, but actually they are from Afghanistan. And for your kind information, Afghanistan is a country which is suffering from polio. There are still multiple active cases of polio which are recently reported in Afghanistan. So we are the country from 2014 onwards, as per WHO, we are polio free. And from our own records, we have confirmed that from 2011 onwards, we are polio free. So we are a country which is polio free from last 13 years at least. And Afghanistan is a country which is still suffering with the issues of new cases of polio. So now people who are coming from there, they can be the carrier of this virus. In the same way, your neighborhood, Pakistan, I can say Pandora box of problems is this country. A lot of issues are associated with this country. So this country, these people, they are also carrying a lot of cases, fresh cases of polio. Now, because of this, and because of this, India is always in threat. That's why we have prepared a new set of rules. Anyone who is traveling to these countries or anyone who is traveling from these countries to India is supposed to go through special type of vaccination. Got it? Then after, next they can ask you, we are done with COVID, we are done with polio, we are done with HIV. Now we are done with hepatitis also. Now we have to deal with two diseases, dengue and chikungunya. Vector for both the diseases is female Aedes aegypti. Remember, female Aedes aegypti. One thing. Second thing, symptoms. Symptoms are always same: fever, chills, and then after pain in the bones. Same symptoms here also. Then after, third, platelets will be lowered in both the infections. So the only difference is name of virus. Here it is caused due to arboflavivirus. Here it is caused due to alpha flavivirus. Remember this thing, chikungunya is result of alpha flavivirus. Why? Dengue is a result of arboflavivirus. Neighbor Pakistan, your or our neighbor, you are your. भैया टाइम पास मत करो यार, यहाँ पे परसों नर्सों एग्जाम है बच्चों का, पढ़ने दो और पढ़ाने दो, है ना? इतने वेली जनता है, I don't know why. We are done with, okay, one more thing you have to remember, dengue. Nowadays, there are cases of severe dengue. Severe dengue can lead to death. And severe dengue cases are reported in Delhi. Remember this thing. Don't forget. Then after, one more question can be asked from eye flu. Whenever there is flu, most of the times it is about viral infection. Eye flu, bird flu, then swine flu. Eye flu, whenever they are talking about eye flu, you have to remember it is named as conjunctivitis. Because conjunctiva is a soft membrane in your eye which got inflamed due to the presence of virus. More than this, I don't think they will ask anything. Bird flu is also named as avian flu. Why it is named as avian flu? Because birds are categorized under, you can say, aves. Aves is the group of animals which is considered as birds. Now, the virus of bird flu is H5N1. There are many viruses. Got it? Then after, swine flu is a droplet infection. Remember this. And H1N1. H1N1 is the name of virus of swine flu. So these are some of the examples of, you can say, viral infections. Let me see. Is there anything which is left? Yes. Look, there are two diseases which are very important. One is chicken pox. Other one is smallpox. Remember that smallpox is related to history and it is very important because in India it was famous with the title Chechak. It is also named as Choti Mata. Oh, sorry, Badi Mata. Chechak is named as Badi Mata in India. While chickenpox is named as Choti Mata in India. Always remember. Now, whenever you are talking about the virus of chickenpox is varicella. Remember this thing, varicella. The name of virus is varicella virus. Got it? And then after, when we go to smallpox, the virus is variola. The virus is variola. Now, variola and varicella, they are very different in two ways. Got it? One is, look, who is this Mr.? I don't know who you are, but please let others to study. Got it? Got it? तो आपको नहीं पढ़ना है तो आप जाइए, जाके माँ बाप का पैसा बर्बाद कीजिए. Got it? दूसरे लोगों का एग्जाम है 4 दिन बाद, उनको पढ़ने दीजिए प्लीज. पहले भी आप उल्टे सीधे कमेंट कर रहे थे और शायद आपको अंदाजा नहीं है कि अगर कोई तुम्हारे पीछे पड़ गया तो तुमको कोई नहीं बचा पाएगा. आईटी एक्ट कितना बुरा है, एक बार पढ़ना खोल के. ये जो जितने यंगस्टर्स हैं, ये बेवकूफों की तरह आप कुछ भी कमेंट करके चले जाते हो यहां पर, आपको अंदाजा नहीं है कि इसके पीछे अगर ढंग से पड़ गया कोई, आपको जेल हो जाएगी. आज ही आपको और आपके घर वालों को आके माफी मांगनी पड़ेगी यहां के. गॉट इट? और औकात नहीं है तुम्हारी कि तुम बच जाओ इससे, क्योंकि तुम जिस आईडी से लॉगिन करके कमेंट कर रहे हो वो आईडी जीमेल की होगी डेफिनेटली. और जब तुमने आईडी बनाई होगी, तुम जहां से यूज कर रहे हो तुम्हारा आईपी एड्रेस भी होगा, और आईपी एड्रेस है तो तुम्हारा आधार कार्ड भी होगा. तो कोई बचा नहीं पाएगा तुमको. तुम्हारे पीछे अगर कोई पड़ गया तो, किसी ने कभी तुम पे थोड़ा बहुत केस कर दिया तो ये जो आके तुम कुछ भी लिख के भाग जाते हो ना, ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दिस थिंग. यू आर रिफ्लेक्टिंग टू थिंग्स. नंबर 1, कितने अच्छे से आपको पाला गया घर वालों ने, एंड नंबर 2, आपको अंदाजा नहीं है कि कोई आपके पीछे पड़ गया, अगर इसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके तुम्हारा खानदान समस्या में आ जाएगा पूरा. आप ऐसे ही कुछ नहीं लिख सकते हो कहीं भी जाकर के. ये सारे लोग ध्यान रखो, ऑनलाइन हो तो याद रखना जो तुमने बोल दिया वही तुम्हारे पीछे पड़ जाएगा. नाउ सी, whenever you are talking about viruses, one is variola, one is varicella. Now you have to remember one thing, smallpox is eradicated. Smallpox is eradicated. Eradicated means this disease is no more present in India. This disease is no more present in India. देवेंद्र धाकड़, प्लीज ऊपर देखो, हिंदी मीडियम की क्लासेस सम्यक की ऐप पर होंगी. ये सिर्फ इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए हो रही है क्लास. Now it is eradicated from India, plus it is eradicated from world. Now you have to remember, around 1980s, it was the time when last case of smallpox was detected. Now you have to remember one more thing. First vaccine of the world was the vaccine of smallpox. First vaccine of the world was the vaccine of smallpox. Now this vaccine was prepared by Edward Jenner. This vaccine was prepared by Edward Jenner. One more thing you have to remember, smallpox blisters will leave permanent marks. While chickenpox, it will get cured within a week. Within few days, you will get well. You will get this infection and you will be well. Okay, so there is no such vaccine available under any of the vaccination program for chickenpox. And now there is no need of smallpox vaccine. Why there is no need of smallpox vaccine? Because this vaccine is of no use, as this disease is eradicated from the world. Now, next they can ask you, yes, there are 2 more diseases, measles, mumps, and one more is rubella. Remember that measles in India, it is named as khasra. So you have to remember, it is named as 4th day fever. It is named as 4th day fever. Virus name is measles morbillivirus. Remember this, measles morbillivirus. Mumps virus is the cause of mumps. In case of mumps disease, the patient will have pain in the parotid glands. Remember that there are 3 sets of saliva glands. One is here. This is named as submandibular gland. One is under your tongue. This salivary gland is named as sublingual gland. And one pair of gland is under your ear. This is named as parotid gland. So parotid gland is affected in case of mumps. And what is rubella? Rubella is a kind of measles, so it is named as German measles. The symptoms of measles and rubella are same. In case of measles as well as rubella, the patient will have fever plus blisters all over the body. But remember that this is named as 4th day fever because first blisters will appear and after 3 or 4 days fever will appear. Then after mumps. Now mumps is nothing but it is inflammation or pain of parotid glands. Then they can ask you about the vaccine. So remember in India MR vaccine. MR vaccine is given to prevent the spread of measles and rubella. It is given at the 9 months of age. Measles vaccine is given at the age of 9 months of age and second dose is around 18 months of age. Then after, many of you were asking about one more disease. They were saying that, sir, elephantiasis. One was saying encephalitis. Now see, whenever you are going to talk about elephantiasis and encephalitis, you have to remember these are 2 different things. Encephalitis can be caused due to bacteria, it can be caused due to virus, it can be caused due to other infections also. Fungus can also cause encephalitis. Encephalitis means any type of inflammation in the head is encephalitis. And what is elephantiasis? Elephantiasis is the issue of lymph system. Now it is caused by worm. It is worm-borne disease. Worm-borne means worms are there. These worms are roundworms. So because of roundworms, this disease will be caused. Wuchereria branchofti. Wuchereria branchofti is the Wuchereria branchofti. Wuchereria branchofti is the worm which is responsive for elephantiasis. And this can be carried by a mosquito. This can be carried by a mosquito. Now, there are many other diseases you know very well, and it is not possible for me to discuss the entire things here. So, for today, I am going to stop this session here. I will try to go for one more session for you, and thanks for being such a nice audience. Keep on studying, keep on doing this thing. And yes, one more thing, some of you were saying that, sir, at last of the session, please discuss about the task or about the strategy, how to attempt the question paper. See, every one of you is prepared with some of the subjects which are going to be your strong points. There are chances that as soon as you will open the question paper, there are chances that the starting questions are according to your preparation or starting questions are exactly opposite to your preparation. So all you have to take care, as per my opinion, everyone can give you different advice, different opinion, is first thing you have to do is, if the questions are in favor of you, don't feel so excited, because it can lead you to be over enthusiastically, you can say you are attempting the questions which you should skip. And if the questions are against you, don't allow that thing to affect the next page of the paper. The question paper will contain at least 16, 17, 25, 30 pages. Even if up to the 3rd page you are not able to attempt any of the question, take a deep breath and imagine that it is not necessary that these 3 are out of my range. That means others are also out of my range. One thing. Second thing, many of you are very good in maths and reasoning. If you are like that, then it is my advice that don't spend too much time on the questions which are like time-seeking questions. For example, I am sitting on a question of mathematics and it is too much time consuming. Before that, try to crack the GK questions. Why? Because GK questions, just imagine 125, around 125 or 130 questions will be from the GK section. So, if someone is done with all the GK questions, I don't think it will take more than 40 minutes to realize that how many questions from GK part you can do. So later on, you can use the entire time to solve every question of maths and reasoning which is out of your periphery. But if you will sit on maths and reasoning, it will consume your energy, a lot of energy. It is my experience, I'm telling you. So try to solve it at last. Because GK questions you will be done in 40 or 50 minutes, I think. In 1 hour, I can remember, in 1 hour, 1 hour is, I'm saying, I think it is excess. Less than 1 hour, everyone was done with IAS prelims paper this year. In the same way, you will be done with the paper in 1 hour. So then after next 1 hour will be for reviewing the questions and for ensuring that not a single question of maths and reasoning is consuming more than the time which the question deserves. And don't forget to fill the 5th option. Yes, they will announce 2 times before the paper will start. They will announce 2 times. Invigilator will announce this thing 2 times. And they will provide you few of the extra minutes also, so that you can ensure that 5th option is filled. But please be careful. Don't try to fill all the 5ths on the same time. Because it can lead to one thing, that you have filled already that C is my option, and at last, by mistake, you are filling 5th also. UPSC and RPSC same syllabus. Syllabus तो कांस्टेबल का भी सेम है, बट लेवल सबका अलग अलग रहता है. यूपीएससी में साइंस टेक के क्वेश्चन जो आते हैं वो टेक्नोलॉजिकल एप्लीकेशन के बहुत अच्छे आते हैं. यहां पे इतने ज्यादा नहीं आने वाले, यहां पे सीधे सीधे क्वेश्चन आएंगे. सो ऑल ऑफ यू एंड लड़ते रहना लास्ट तक. Many of the people will say कि लास्ट टाइम में पढ़ना नहीं चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए. जो पढ़ रखा है उसको पढ़ते रहना. पढ़ रखा है मतलब एक बार समझ भी रखा है तो ट्राई टू रिकॉल इट. मसल मेमोरीज होती है, ऐसे ही हमारे न्यूरॉन की भी मेमोरी होती है. जो पढ़ रखा है उसको दोबारा तैयार करने में बहुत ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगता है. एंड डोंट गो आफ्टर द पीपल. लास्ट डे, लास्ट मोमेंट, लास्ट मिनट एंट्री तक भी पढ़ सकते हो. दैट डिपेंड्स, लाइक पर्सन टू पर्सन, दैट कैन वेरी. ओके, थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग टू मी. थैंक यू टू बी देयर. एंड जो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, I said this thing yesterday also. You people can message me, or you people can come over to Samyak and you can meet me. Even if any one of you was not our student in this classroom program or something online program, even in that case, if you think we can help you in any way, notes or something else, then come over to Samyak and contact me. You can contact me. I am ready to spare extra time. I am ready to spare notes with you people. All we want you to do is, we want good officers. We want good results from English medium candidates, like every year we do. Got it? Thank you. God bless you. Good luck. Like always, I keep on saying, keep smiling, keep fighting. Got it? Proud of you all. Love you. God bless you.